Where's where's the intro? Well, that's a little awkward, huh?
What happened?
I don't know where the intro went. I pay Milo all these big bucks to direct this stuff, and supposed to have it ready. Milo, buddy, hit the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of appropriate ages, welcome to the WrestleMania 41 Night 2 review. Countdown Ended is here live with friends to break it all down. Are you ready? Let's see those bananas in the air, and let's get ready to party.
Cynics call, but the fire ain't out. Jake and the crew ain't a whisper or doubt. WrestleMania, blood and pride collide. Glory falls and history's tied to somewhere where shadows clash. Voices loud, predictions flash. Cena rose, fist break the air. A desert storm they cannot share.
That's right. We're back. Morning time. WrestleMania weekend. Into somewhere. Cup of Java edition. I'm not alone. I've got Cody here with me. Hello, my friend. Good morning. Hopefully your hot chocolate replacement coffee is treating you well. Thank you for joining me and hanging out. I paid a lot for this pyro, so we're getting every bit of it, okay? This shit's expensive. I think my kitchen's on fire. Hold on. No, we're good. Just checking.
Sorry, it would have been me because everyone. That'll be a running joke.
I am early. I was supposed to be on at 11:30. We're a little bit early, but that's okay. It worked out well. We got out of urgent care in like 16 fucking minutes. That was a record. Yep, you got an infection, antibiotics. There you go. To the pharmacy. That was quick. In time for my drive to brunch. Yeah, Daniel, son. Hopefully you're doing well on night 2, the morning of WrestleMania 41. NXT Stand and Deliver was so top notch. I am still like hugely elated by what they gave us last night. I cannot
Stand and Deliver yet, but I heard that it was better than night 1 of WrestleMania.
Absolutely. You are missing out, my friend, because that tag match alone was worth the price of entry into Stand and Deliver. I'm telling you, that so far is my favorite match of the weekend and one of my favorite tag matches of the year. Somehow, I was never like, I didn't dislike Hank and Tank. I liked them, but they weren't my favorites either. They were just, it's like, hey, I like these guys. And I just, I not that I didn't like them, but I didn't love them. They grow on me as time. The Gauntlet definitely helped. The stories they've told recently. But all in all, they got me last night. They made me believe in Hank and Tank for real. These guys, they left it all out in that ring. That tag match was incredible. Daniel, that's a great point. Night 1 can be perfectly epitomized and summed up by Bret Hart's face rolling his eyes at Triple H. Because Triple H, of course, has to go ahead every time, make it about himself. Hey, you're the chief coordinating officer of special directives and naughty parts, whatever. You need to have,
Except when a show's not good, then it's a team effort.
Yeah, you need to have a grand entrance, goddammit. That's what needs to happen right the hell away.
Yeah, I don't think Bret Hart likes Triple H.
It certainly was a sight for sore eyes and made me chuckle. That's for damn sure. But yeah, we're off to the races.
Bret Hart doesn't like anybody, right? Bret Hart doesn't like anyone.
Well, he hates Bill Goldberg. We know that. Liz pointed this out, and I want to bring this up really quick. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it right away, but it's basically everything Cody predicted. Everything he stood there and said before WrestleMania last year came true about Roman. You have no title, no wise man, no bloodline. You have nothing.
Wake up without these titles. That mean the
and,
most happens.
Cody
Wake
Rhodes
up.
is just
Then what happens? You
uh,
wake up without a wise man, without your brother.
You too.
They'll leave you too.
Believes you too.
Solo's
I
gonna
like
leave you
that
too.
visual.
Man.
Like if people
Well, he becomes
that
an
missed it
advocate
clicked
again.
off right after, like when they snap back to the post show, I like the visual of Roman and CM Punk just standing there in shock, and I think they're gonna form an alliance at some point because they were looking at each other because they felt each other's pain.
It was great. I really loved it, and that carried night one for me. Absolutely, it really solidified
show.
the main event. It did. Nick B, what's going on? Glad to see you in the chat as well. My low expectations for night one were not surpassed. I'm happy Gable won and enjoyed the triple threat, but that's it. Triple threat
Nope,
did cook.
Donald Trump did not interfere in that match. Like
He
people
did
thought.
not. Yeah, the cup of Joe early in the morning, Jesse James. That's right. I've always called coffee Joe. That's a New England thing. We got a box of Joe at Dunkin' Donuts. Like that's what it is. It's always been a cup of Joe in the house, but I didn't want to start any problems. I mean, it's not like I called it a cup of Dan. Jesus. Any event, cup of Java here. It's delicious. I'm glad you people are filing in and enjoying yourselves. It's going to be a beautiful day inside and out. The studio is a brisk 4 degrees because my nipples are telling me it's a little windy. But besides that weather report, I did like the joke weather report last night from Jade. That was amusing. To set up her entrance. Little funny
Duncan
things
gave me
like
my,
that.
Cup of Corona, and I meant Joe. I meant
Yeah, you got yourself a nice little
What did they put
cup of
alcohol
hot
in it?
chocolate. Cup of hot
I don't
chocolate.
know
They
why I
fucked
said
you
I meant
over.
Corona or Joe. Yeah. It's because it actually was supposed to be a coffee.
You were supposed to get coffee, and you got fucked. You got hot chocolate. I would have thrown it right back at him. Yeah, the triple threat. I mean, Seth catching Roman into the spear, great, love it. That he gets a pedigree off, and it's like, god damn, that was so well executed. And going back and just checking out some of the highlights, I didn't rewatch the entire match, but if you look at like the big spots, they were all executed so perfectly. Honestly, the 3 of them did amazing. And even though it was a foregone conclusion, it really went ahead and made me just, want to crash out for Punk. God damn it. My heart breaks that not only did he get his first main event, but didn't win it. We knew it was too good to be true. But like Cody said, he'll become an advocate again. And so he is for Seth, maybe. We got to see what happens. The thing is, everybody's got ideas brewing all around because Seth did say the best for business line. Heard Cena say it before his turn in allegiance to The Rock. Is this stable going to grow? The Hollywood Elites with Seth Rollins, with Paul Heyman? I mean,
I predicted that last night on our show. I said that even potentially maybe Drew McIntyre gets his nose in the mix, and I think you can
could be
have
interesting.
A visual where The Rock, Cena, Seth, Drew, Paul Heyman all stand tall together as one alliance. I mean, why not throw that out there? Because I predicted night one's ending. Like
adding Drew would not be a bad idea, but I feel like Drew just
nail on the coffin with the.
He's not able to work with anybody. That's kind of like the allure of his character right now. He's not in the
Except The Rock, because he made deals with The Rock to resign, right?
Something, but I don't know. I wouldn't have Drew go too far with that. I like him being, the lone wolf essentially, and not a hired gun. It could be great if they add him. I don't know. I like where his character is right now. The one that I really want to see get elevated is Karrion Kross, and it seems like they have plans for him. Obviously, the match that he had with AJ on Monday, at the conclusion, he puts his hands behind his back and smiles as he, waits to be taken out because he had to get the anger out of AJ. He had to bring the real wrestler out of him. And I like how intricate every bit of his gear and look, his hair, his everything is planned meticulously to the finest of teas, so that he can go ahead and just take the audience for a wild ride as he mocks and mimics whoever he's talking to, facing, promoing with, wrestling. He goes and adopts their look, their style. He even had the seamstress use the same material to make his gear that AJ's was made out of. These things are great to see paid attention to. So he's got a big future, and I am excited to see what comes of it.
I mean, gotta see. You gotta trust WWE.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, they're
always-
saying that we still have. I guess they said the real reason Bailey was pulled is revealed. We'll have to check into that. I mean, it seems they have plans for things, and you know.
Was she injured or something, or like?
Well, let's go ahead and get into it. So this is Bailey was originally set to
talk
team
about
with
this match
Lyra.
first, I guess.
Yeah, and it says, however, during the countdown show, WWE aired an angle where Bailey was attacked backstage. While Morgan and Rodriguez denied being the assailants, Adam Pearce declared that Bailey would be unable to participate. According to a report from PW Insider Elite, the storyline in Bailey's removal is not due to a real injury, and it is part of a planned narrative for weeks. There's reportedly some sympathy in the locker room for fellow talent when the news broke. Again, Bailey is not injured. Lyra Valkyria's new partner is expected to be officially revealed tomorrow, with the likely candidate being the rumored return of Becky Lynch, who is in Las Vegas and has a history with both Lyra and Liv. So, very weird that they pulled her from Mania without being injured. I mean, unless they have some great story to tell and she agreed ahead of time, I don't know what to make of it. It's very.
Becky and Lyra win, or will Becky turn heel at the end of?
I don't think they're going to turn, but I don't see them winning the titles, even with Lyra, because Lyra is. They're not going to make her a double champ, and on top of it, I think it's going to be just they come up short. But
It's my thing that like I don't know if Becky returns to lose.
I don't think it would hurt her to lose, and you could even pin Becky at her return. Really, if they cheat, you know, the other two are heels. They are going to go ahead and pick everybody off piece by piece. Yeah,
and because you got the whole thing with Dominic too. I doubt they dropped the titles for Dominic to win the Intercontinental title.
That as well.
Because
there's a
Liz's
story
whole
with
point
Judgment
is
Day.
she
Yeah,
wants her, Raquel, and Dom to be champion, and she said it like in interviews and stuff. I want Dominic to win. Like she's saying basically, "Fuck you, Finn Balor."
it's C or come. I mean coffee. But yeah, there's no better news yet that goes over anything. This is basically what we heard and read last night, and we don't have any further details really. Interesting enough, I want to know why she was. I mean, if it's all storyline purpose, then what do they have planned? But
I'm surprised they would leave her off, because WWE typically doesn't do that. Like especially with like. No, Sasha's not there anymore. Like the four horsewomen, like they always made sure they had.
I know they always usually had that like set 4 or 5 women usually being featured. So
it was always, I think, for the majority, when it was Vince running the ship, he cared about like 5 of them, which were the four horsewomen: Bailey, Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, and Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
was his other. I think that was his main 5.
There's quite a bit, that's for sure. So we will get into night 2. You know, we previewed the women's tag match, but I'm kind of heading us into backwards direction here. We're going to reverse back to night 1 quickly because I don't want to spend too much time here. We'll lean more into news into night 2, but you can obviously check out the review last night for our full in-depth thoughts of everything that went on. So please go ahead and check that out and let us know what you think of WrestleMania Night 1. Make sure you're subscribed, hitting that like button and the notification, because again, we're going to be live with some great guests tonight into somewhere WrestleMania edition for night 2. So we'll be covering night 1, night 2, previewing Raw and NXT as well. There's a lot to go over, and it's going to be a great time. Absolutely. So yeah, we started off last night in a hot way. Jey Uso had a cool entrance. Gunther had a very bland entrance. It was cool to see the arena.
Traditional.
Everybody was eating. They all bought into the underdog thing. He hit him with the 3 splashes, and then Gunther tapped out immediately as soon as that submission chokehold was put on.
Yeah, looking back at that, I don't think
they let or make people.
Out.
Yeah, they make people pass out all the time, Cody. I don't get why having him not do it. Why?
Like if they were going to make him tap out, though, like it should have been a thing where he almost got to the ropes, but Jay showed his strength and got him away, and that's where Gunther finally couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, because the match was very awkward. It was very disjointed. And that was kind of a theme through the night where people just didn't mesh well or they didn't have great chemistry. And some of the things felt not as Mania worthy as they could have been. After having probably one of the worst matches, not just of WrestleMania, but a lot of people, that was like on their top 5 of worst matches of the year, was brother versus brother in the Uso match last year at Mania 40, so I really felt like he was going to try and like vindicate himself here, but it feels like it's really just like Jay's over with the entrance, but I don't see always great stuff in the ring. It's not that he's bad, but
No,
it just
Jimmy is better in the ring.
at times
by the way.
they complement each other so well because they're twins. They have that simpatico nature and they really just have that innate
They're
flow.
great tag team. And I don't know. And I know Jake can be a good singles wrestler. Look what he did in 2020, 2021 when he was main event Jey Uso then.
Yeah, I mean he puts on good matches, just it wasn't stellar. It wasn't that Mania match that I was really hoping for.
He was putting on good matches back in the pandemic era, but
I know they just inducted a match of a guy passing out. Nick B, you are absolutely right. They inducted the match of the year, or, moment of the year, whatever, for Stone Cold and Bret Hart, and that Stone Cold, passing out with the blood. They could have, had shades of that and even, alluded to it. Oh, he passed out just like Austin, but he held on to the last minute. A fighting champ all the way through. Nope. He taps. I'm a bitch. I'm done. It was like,
but as I was saying, if you're going to make him tap out, it needs to be a bigger moment instead of tapping instantly.
And as for Sami Zayn, like Sami Zayn got that surprise brainbuster pop-up that was just this moment of great resurgence. Gunther, that was a layup moment, and I'm telling you, I expected a lot more from this match. Gunther is one of my all-time favorite matches, and I literally say it's one of the most hardcore matches without weapons. Was him and Ilya Dragunov, NXT UK. They beat the bloody hell out of each other. Like I said, no weapons, but the most violent match ever. And it was during the pandemic time, too. This was one of the rare matches that worked with that element because every chest, just whack, every chop on that. Slapping me, like everything echoed and reverberated. The screams, the heavy breaths, all of it just added to the ambiance, the perfect feel. It was, dare I say, cinema. So yeah, Daniel, he said, when is the Extra Life charity stream? So I linked back up with the Connecticut Children's Medical Center. And we're going to be going ahead and raising money for them this summer. We're going to be doing Extra Life. I believe it's in August. I have to double check with the date in the setup, but everybody will know as soon as I know. And we're going to have a very long, very fun charity stream, raising money for some sick kids, doing it for the kids. And it'll be a blast. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's also going to be capped off by a live performance, a multi-song set from Jake and a Hoagie. Coming back out of retirement, Jake will be playing guitar and singing live for the ultimate stage show that is the return of Jake and a Hoagie. You're going to love it. You're going to fucking love it.
Can't wait.
You are going to fucking love it. It was a lot of fun, and for such a great cause, it's something that's near and dear to me. It's been something I've done on my own for many years. I got help, a time or two, and it's been going since. The medals that surround my wall, it's not as heavy as the albatross I wear around my neck, but it is a reminder that there is some good left in this world. So,
yep.
After that bit of disappointment, we ran head first into disappointment. The New Day runs off with victory, and that wasn't the issue. This was such a bland match.
Yeah, I don't think, because New Day winning wasn't the issue because everybody wanted the New Day to win, and I feel like everyone thought the New Day should win because they needed to capitalize finally off this heel turn. But I think the New Day is basically
should have had the titles the week after they turned heel. Yeah, no shit.
Yes. And so they just dropped the fucking ball because at first it was good, maybe because they were trying to explain themselves. They had this heel heat where Kofi's mother was even walking out on him and stuff like that. They had this perfect heel heat, and I don't know. Then they stopped using them. Then they put them backstage sometimes, and then they use them for only commercial breaks. So not everyone was invested to them that was actually watching the TV program weekly.
Yeah.
So
Liz,
I
I'm
don't
using
know
you
how
as my
you have.
notepad. I'm going to send you this photo so I can bring it up on stream. Thank
The
you.
New Day was never supposed to break up. They were supposed to never split apart, and the New Day turned their back on Big E. And so that
Well,
was, like, one of
especially
the
all
biggest
they
moments
went through, like that was a real shock. That
ever.
was repeated time and time again of like they're heel together, they're face together. They were pretty much
The build up to
faces.
the heel turn,
Yeah.
and the heel turn was perfect. And after that, it just fell apart because that's something with Triple H, like the build up. Then what are you going to do to execute that afterwards? And then he always just drops the ball on.
Well,
all of
here's
that.
you know, Paul Rollins and Seth Heyman, you know. But my buddy Patrick, hopefully he's feeling better, sent this to me. USA Network put that out. Heartbreaking. But look at them. Acknowledging Seth. Can't get enough of that moment. That was exceptional. I will say the way they built up and teased that. You know, he first betrays Roman, but really he's betraying Punk. Then he betrays Roman actually, and then from there he sides with Seth. And we knew it was going to happen, but the way they did it, it was so excellent.
People are debating, is this a Seth Rollins heel turn officially? And some people are saying, no, he's not a heel yet.
I don't think it was a heel turn.
Baby faces.
Yeah, it's a weird
because
thing.
he was aligned with Paul coming out. He wasn't heel. Like, I don't think anyone's really heel. I think it's just they're all their own style of good guys.
Yeah, you know, and
none of them are like the traditional I love you, you love me, Barney the dinosaur.
No,
good
they're
guys that John
all
Cena was and
bricks.
Cody Rhodes is.
Punk
yeah,
is
they're all
Punk. He
good guys.
you know, he cuts deep through the tongue and drops pipe bombs. Roman, obviously, he's not giving a shit about anybody. He never apologized. His face turn was just the fans cheering for him. And Seth, if this gets him out of the transsexual phase that he's been in and he starts wearing fucking real boots again, I would be thrilled.
Because he had no choice with what's it called? Apologizing to Jay. That was like the only way Jay would accept it. Like, but you saw his face, or he didn't want to. He was pissed.
Yeah, and he didn't even really. It just got him in for the you know the War Games match and whatnot. It wasn't.
Then they could have done more with that.
It could have done a lot more.
They said the bloodline wasn't going away after that, but that was a lie. Apparently, they went away.
No, this is coffee talk. So I have not been to bed yet. Paul knows, as I was telling him earlier, at like 3-something in the morning, my anxiety decided to flare up and I was still vomiting. I took a few showers and went for a walk with the pooch.
Me and Jake, I don't think have slept much.
No, I literally just didn't go to bed yet. I was like, maybe I'll nap before Mania starts, but we'll see. I still got more shit to do. You know, it's never ending, but thank you guys for hanging out here. I appreciate it. Hopefully everybody is having a wonderful morning. I am humbled with all the support and the fun that we've had. I'm just trying to cultivate a great group of people that like to talk about wrestling that they watch and review. You know, that's pretty much it all comes down to. Maybe some jokes and maybe some other fun things, but for the most part, c'est la vie. Bound to happen in the best way possible. I want to see everybody go ahead and just enjoy themselves. So now I have my own personal work husband. I'm the wife in this scenario. Sorry, Spaz, but my work husband is also an asshole and will sick anybody for me. So I love having that availability. But he goes ahead and sent out a tweet earlier and it just it cracked me up. He's like, I didn't get my way, so the whole show sucked. You know, sentiment is running wild today. And it's terrible, but it's true. People are hating on Tiffany that she retained, even though they didn't want Charlotte to win. People are shitting all over Jay. Jay deserved the belt. They could not have not given him the win here. He is, 0-3 against Gunther already. It could not become 0-4. That would have maybe not buried him, but killed his chances at being considered for the main event.
Said that, they could just do that underdog story again where he comes up and falls short, and I'm like, you can't do that again.
No. How many times has this man fallen short? How many main events has he not achieved. He's got to get some big win. This was massive. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't his match against Jimmy last year with 5,000 super kicks. There was about 20.
It was a lot better of a match, and that's a lot thanks to Gunther, because Gunther will never have a bad match.
Yeah, like I said, they just felt a little out of sync with each other. It was like disjointed. They were like mistiming some things. They were kind of like some things felt clumsy. And
I'm not going to blame Gunther, because Gunther can probably have a 5-star match with a.
It could have been nerves. It could have been anything, just not. I mean, these guys are probably so caffeinated and, drugged up in the sense of like, whatever 5-hour energy super stuff you can get your hands on, because they had SmackDown. Then they had to go get changed and look all suave for the Hall of Fame. Then when they got out of that, some of the people had to report for NXT, and whoever was at the Hall of Fame, NXT-wise.
Some people had an after party.
Yep, now they have that after party. They have to show up, the after dark. So that starts at 1 a.m. till 4:30 a.m. And then they had to be at NXT by 5 a.m. That was their call time. The show started at, 8? Right? Or no, 9.
Yeah.
Over there. So,
and I'm sure some of the main event talent, you hear about all the time. Some of them show up to help.
And there was several like referees and things like that now have to go from Stand and Deliver then to Mania Night 1. And then they have stuff going on afterwards. I really wish we were getting to see the roast of Mania. I know that's like, they don't want to release it so they can actually say raunchy things. But one of my favorite things is comedian roast battles. I have a
they promoted it on TV. They're not gonna.
Maybe they'll show it down the line at some point, but I love like roast jokes. I like mean comedy. To me, like it's fun. It's funny when it's done in a way that it makes people in on the joke. Like that's what I'm all about. And I remember just like 3 or 4 days ago, I showed Fabe. I showed Sir Connor that I found my roast jokes for Tommy NC that we never got to do. We were supposed to roast Tommy, and it was going to be like a charity type thing. And I remember I came up with, there was a few good people on the dais too that were going to probably be damn good at roasting Tommy. And I had some great jokes back then. Some were topical, but I was like, this is one of my favorites. I said, not racist at all, referring to Tommy. I said, he just wishes he had one black friend he could send to the store for Arizona tea and Skittles. That's a Trayvon Martin reference. So that was a good one. I said his dick looks like Heath Ledger's bloated dead corpse. I said, Tommy is the epitome of what happens when you get pregnant from pre-cum. He says he doesn't masturbate, but he shouldn't need to with all the rape he does. Like, I was like, these jokes are so dark, his grandfather would try to lynch them. There was always jokes that his grandfather was a KKK member, whatnot. Like, it was to piss him off, but it was funny. So I wish we could have done that. Cody?
Oh, Tommy.
I think I need to roast you.
Oh, okay.
I finished. Well, speaking of finished, I'm so gay I finished in my own ass, but I genuinely, I think we need to have the roast battle, and I think that might need to be added to the extra live stream. I don't know if the chat would be for it, but I've always had a huge affinity for comedy, and I think if we get some, we could do a thing where we get some tryouts. Maybe some people in the community want to come up and tell some jokes, and we can see who moves on.
Dark
we can do it.
Like,
dark jokes. Like I said,
I'm all for it, because I know you won't mean anything by it. Like any health issues, you can make jokes about it, because like my friends can. Like,
that's what I'm saying. It's an open book. I don't take offense to things. I have always been able to go with the punches, and that's the thing.
Having something about scarlet fever and I'm fine with it all. Like,
I already told you, you held the Guinness World Record for being a senior for 18 years. You don't give yourself enough credit. I'm so autistic. I forgot 9/11. All right, it happens to the best of.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh, I'll give you one more. This is probably my worst joke out of all of it. So the theme obviously always with Tommy was that his grandfather was a severe, closeted racist, and we just teased him endlessly about it. So I said, Tommy actually saved a young black boy once. He pulled his grandfather's foot off of his head. I got to get out of these. I'm going to get in trouble. So the first match, not up to what I wanted, not up to snuff, but you got a little toast of the flavor there, the toast of the flavor. I love, like I said, dark comedy. You need to be able to look at yourself and laugh. It took me a lot of therapy to be able to do that. And I try to be an open book. You know, I've dealt with a lot of shitty things, and I don't like to come on here and gripe. I want to, and I'm not being fake either. Like I'm genuinely presenting the side of myself I want to be. I want to be positive. I want to not feel like a loser. You know what I mean? I want to matter. And it's not for attention's sake, but I literally can't go back to work. Not even like because of a physical thing, but the way it works and how with the state of Connecticut and everything. I tried to, you know, do the small little part-time stuff a long time ago, you know, like 6-7 years ago.
Connecticut is.
I did 2 40-hour work weeks with the Bureau of Rehab Services. So they come out, they get you a job, and then they sit with you at the job and like watch you and monitor you and see what you can tolerate. So they focused on my culinary background and sent me to fucking 99. I'm like, give me somewhere where I don't have to be on my feet when I'm fucking 430 pounds at that point. Still had 200 pounds to go. So, but not a great experience. I did 2 40-hour weeks. I got paid for 7 hours. So not only did they take away food stamps and lower my check because they have to adjust that, but then for every $2 you make past $80, they take 1. So 2 for you, 1 for me kind of idea happens. And then they charge you for your Medicare. So feasibly, it's impossible to do the right thing. And I want to find a reason to believe in myself again. So doing this has given me purpose. It's made me feel social, which is a great help to fight away depression and anxiety. I have not eaten anything since Tuesday. That's not an exaggeration. I have not even attempted to with all the vomiting I've done. So I've stayed with the liquid stuff. You know, I make jokes. It's iced tea. I'm not actually drinking. It's supposed to be fun on the stream. And yeah, I take care of myself. I know what I'm doing, but I just want people to enjoy themselves, and I want to go ahead and matter. So I thank you all sincerely and graciously. I am a stone throws away from hitting 4,000 subscribers, which that's an incredible feat this quick. I think we're at, like 80 away. So we were at 1,400 2 weeks ago. And it's a big surprise because I am getting better about it, but it's a lot to change your outlook. And that's one of the things I genuinely love about Spaz. And Connor is this way too, and so are you. But Spaz especially is such in the most positive way, like, fuck it. Oh, well, let's keep it. Like, he just always has the best positive outlook. I could be like, God damn, I broke my leg and now I'm laid up. He's like, but you didn't lose it. You know, like, and he's always, and it has helped me immensely. Music Maniacs, what's going on? But I really appreciate that. I love yourself, the mad track you got. So I took the from Halloween, the remake from Halloween Ends. They have that little noise that's great. And let's see if this will pull up quick. So this was the original like demo before no, that's not the original one. I got to find it. But that was the start of it. And it eventually all came together. Let's see here. I think this was the start of it. While we're still hanging out with our coffee stream, guys. Thank you for enjoying and hanging out with us today. Let us know in the chat, what are you guys most looking forward to for night 2? What did you love about night 1? What didn't you love? What was your favorite moment? Let me know. Keep the conversation going. I see my beautiful wife. I do not see any of my music. All right. Well, sloppy Joe time. Let's see here. Well, here's just the raw guitar track of me playing. I have the rhythm. I'm trying to find the lead. It's just for the rhythm the whole time, you know? And then you got... as much pick squeals you could throw into everything, pinch harmonics, and I got a song I think is nothing but pinch and like natural harmonics. But what I did was I layered the guitar in my amp itself with like an echo and a delay and a reverb with a slight bit of a chorus and a flanger. So it had that really cool echo effect. And you could hear it like ring out at the end. So when you get to the end of the song, it and it kept going through. So I was very happy with how it turned out. But thank you for the wonderful compliment there. Yeah, this is the original. So this is you know, I added the drum beat and then the guitar, and then I went back over it and layered it with my lead, and I did more pick squeals. But I definitely will come on and talk music at some point, Mr. Maniac. I have been humbled by your invitation, so don't you worry, we'll figure out a day to make it work. But you know, Liz said, here's what way I see it when it comes to streaming. Keep doing what you're doing and the growth will come. It may take a while, but it happens. Absolutely. You have busted your butt and you have a really cool community of like-minded gaming, you know, enthusiasts. And especially because niche is the wrong word, but you play like JRPGs and you know, whatever genre you want to call it, you know, anime style and role-playing games, you know, I think it's great. Everybody has something that they like really enjoy, and the way you get the chat involved and making decisions. Oh yeah, you gotta turn up the gain all the way when you're doing that. The lines. So we're just bullshitting and talking anyway. That's the point of this, right? We'll get back into Mania in a minute. So when I was in my junior year, we had a food service class, and you had to take it junior year. And if you got over a certain grade, then senior year, you would be able to take it, but it was a block class. So A days, and then you had B days. And A days, you'd have like math, English, science, health. And then B days would be the opposite of whatever you didn't have. And, you know, it basically was the opposite. We had it every day, second period, 2 hours. So I was there every day, regardless of what day it was. And, my senior year, I used to get out of gym because I had gym first period. I would show up a few minutes early. I'd go into the freaking kitchen and I would cook like some type of breakfast sandwich or something. And I'd be like, Stupakovich, Stoop. I'm like, what do you want for breakfast? Give him breakfast. My fat ass. Get an A+ in gym. I never showed up, not once. I ran the mile, I think, in like 3 minutes because I made him 2 breakfast sandwiches that day. Yeah, Liz, you have a whole slew of like gaming and wrestling. That's what I'm saying. Like it's all these little niche groups that come together to join into one community. It's really cool. So, but I worked with him, my food service teacher, throughout the entire year. So anytime there was a banquet for the sports teams or something had to be catered, we did it for the school. We also did fundraisers. We fed the homeless shelter all year. Like and not shit either. Like we gave those guys prime rib one night, lobster. They cried. Like it was, you know, big to do. We fed them regularly. So I didn't realize it. I thought it was just all curriculum based. And a week before my junior year ends, the principal had found me. He's like, "Oh, I need your social security number." I'm like, "I don't know it by heart." And he's like, "Oh, well, if you're going to get paid, you got to give me that. And I need a routing number for your bank." I'm like, "Oh, all right." I figured I got like $1,600 for like, I guess you only get minimum wage and it only counted when you weren't in school hours, but they kept track of the hours you worked all year. So that was a nice, you know, stipend that I wasn't expecting. So I went and I bought myself, because I was still in a few bands then. I got the Line 6 Spider amp there, the Spider 2, and I got the floor combo. And got it fixed recently. And that damn thing is beefy. It's a heavy bastard, but it's beautiful. And is it loud? It will shake the foundation down in this house. It's crazy. It's only got the 212s in it, but that thing packs a wallop. It's one of those where like you can actually get the treble such a tone that it'll hurt your ears if you're not smart about it. But it's those little things. So yeah, it was cool to you know, be employed by the school. And my food service teacher, actually, his Achilles tendon popped. It sounded like a gunshot went off. He fell to the ground. They had to call an ambulance, and they took him out. And I was one of the only students that he was really close to and trusted. So he gave me the keys for his kitchen because, you know, everything had to be locked because kids would come in and just take food and all that stuff. So he went ahead and left me the keys. So I used to get called out of class as a junior to go to the seniors and unlock the fridges and stuff for them. Like, I was writing people
Right.
passes. I basically made the school my bitch. Yeah, the insane setting on the line 6 is incredible because it gives you the tone it's actually set by is what's his name? Ben something from Evanescence. He Moody. I have Moody's 5 finger. I forget Ben something. And the tone, instead of bring me to Evanescence song, that's what they have programmed into the amp. So you can pick your own tones, obviously, say whatever you want. But then they have like labeled presets, and it's
Bring
incredible.
Your wife.
Yeah, he had some really funny names, but that one was great. The Bring Me Your Wife setting. It was beefy. So, speaking of beef, my good man, as I'm all over the place, as we said, the New Day match was probably one of the bigger disappointments because what the fuck? You gave so you had a crapshoot of a match for what, a minute on Raw before it ended in fuckery. And then you kerfuffled it all the way up and fumbled at the freaking goal line with this.
Here's my thing. How did they get a match at WrestleMania? But Chelsea Green's been fucking killing it with the United States Championship, and
There's quite a few people that I am genuinely perplexed at. They and the women's, match that they had and how it turned into Zelina Vega getting involved and pinning Chelsea. You can't tell me they couldn't have a match. Why are there not matches on the kickoff show? Somebody tell me why.
3 fucking hours of kickoff show, and you can't have one fucking match.
Not one? Not
Imagine
one?
the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal still. Didn't it used to be on the kickoff? It used to actually be on the main show, right? They started
yes.
this, like, what?
Yeah.
At WrestleMania 30, I believe they started this whole.
Yeah, because that was when the network. They did have pre-shows before it, but I remember I used to go to my father's friend's house. His name was Pop Tart. He was a very older gentleman. He was like in his late 50s, and he went to the bar that my father, blew his life away at and frequented. And this guy was a drunk, but he was a very nice, honest, hardworking guy. And he had a bunch of friends who I ended up calling. One of them was Larry. I called him Uncle Larry. And, I had Pop Tart, Uncle Larry, and the Crow. Crow, don't worry about it. But he had a pay-per-view like Black Box, so you can get them all for free. And that's how I watched WrestleMania 16, 2000 that year. And they actually did a thing where, like, starting that Friday, it was for free. If you rented WrestleMania 2000, you got to watch WrestleManias 1 all the way through 15. And at that time, if you didn't own the VHS, I don't even know if they're DVDs. I think 2000 is like when they started putting them to DVDs, really. And goddamn, I was surprised, but it was a hell of a lot of, bit of nostalgia, that's for sure. And we watched the entire, just about throughout the weekend, all of the WrestleManias. And we only missed a few things here or there. I tried to tape them all on VHS back then. But I remember that having a big, long kickoff show, too. I heard Luger didn't come last night. He could make more money at WrestleCon. Yeah, no kidding. At least he got to walk to the podium. That was cool. We thought Andre was essentially replacing the Money in the Bank match. Yeah, the Battle Royal. I thought it was too, and that was a fun Battle Royal. That could have been on the pre-show or the card itself, and it would have been exciting. It was something to gravitate towards and have fun with. That's simple. So I also, as I look through here, where I'm going through all my side notes. So you think back. Tag teams in NXT have been stellar for a long time, and there was many tag teams that I couldn't wait to be called up. And I can't help but feel like, and the chat can correct me if I'm wrong, I know the Revival had some good matches, but they were better in NXT, obviously. I don't remember them having any real, like, classic bangers on the main roster. And then, what the hell were their names? Connor and Victor. The Ascension. I loved them originally on early NXT days, and they came up to the main roster, looked like badasses, and then they were just like
something like where
they ruined them.
Disrespect legends, right?
Yeah, and then they were getting their asses kicked. It was so stupid. What a way! Like time and time again, Enzo and Cass, they make them split up. They were the hottest team. Bada boom, realest guys in the room. How you doing? When he ever came out at that SummerSlam when they had NXT before for the takeover. and they end up coming out, for their debut, and my name in the crowd. Enzo still holds a place in my heart because he's so right in his psychology of wrestling. He didn't have much experience, and he knew that. And the other guys shit on him for it. And rather than try and train him and help him, they bullied him and ostracized him. So he just learned what he could. Remember him knocking himself out with the vaudevillains? Like his work ethic got better as time went on. And I watched him recently. He's doing like a family-friendly show in Connecticut that was with like a gigantic robot wrestler and a big, cowboy and all that kind of stuff. So it was interesting, but Living Color was great last night. I love live music, so I miss going to concerts regularly. And funny enough, when I wasn't doing the other show and I was gone for like that 2-year span, I was really, really sick at one point. No shit. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really? I didn't know. So before I thought I was dying, and they thought I had some form of cancer, and it was going to be like a pituitary cancer, and I had to go see a specialist, and it ended up being that I wasn't producing testosterone, and instead my body was turning the free testosterone that should be produced into some sex globulin hormone binding thing, and it was taking some type of other hormone, and it was this like titration of issues.
I was actually extremely worried because...
Yeah. Well, hey, that's what I do. I worry people. Yeah.
Because I used to talk to you, then it was like you just stopped talking to them. Like,
I literally died off the face of the earth. Well, at that point in time,
we're not shitting him, but like Joe, like how he would explain it, he would be like, "Yeah, he's not doing good. He might put." I'm like, "What?"
And nobody heard from me though because I didn't even have a phone at that point.
Yeah, Joe would say on his show like,
but
he could be dying because you know how Joe will.
Well, yeah. So I went ahead and at that point in time, when I had to go see a certain endocrinologist, and this is when I was just getting off of the blood thinners for the pulmonary embolism when I had the blood clot in my lungs and almost died. So after that one, we have to go to Boston to, it was a specialist out of network. And as Sir Sith Deegan knows, it was not cheap. We went ahead and we get there, and thankfully it was worth the trip. I mean, this is the one that helped me immensely, and that triggered into the weight loss and a lot of good changes. So it was necessary, but far too expensive. Point being, while we were there, my wife and daughter, well, I shouldn't even say my wife, fuck her. My daughter, she surprised me. It was her entire plan. Danny had been like working and saved money. She paid for this all on her own, and then she went ahead and surprised even her mother by doing everything herself. She got the tickets. She made the plans because she saw the date that I was going to have to be in Mass for the 2 days. And at that point in time, I even let Sir know and tried to film some stuff in person and visit, but I wasn't responded to back then again. So we went ahead and we get up there, and she almost made me bawl like a baby. But one of my favorite artists of all time is Our Lady Peace, and I've never been able to see them live. I think it was 2007 or 8. I had tickets to see them, and I had tickets to see. Christ, I'll think of it. Oh, Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, and Our Lady Peace. It was like a 104 Fest type like thing. So long story short, we're leaving the doctors and we end up going to this hole in the wall, smaller than like the Webster Theater. And this is peak COVID. This is like December 2022. And, things are closed down, but everybody's got to wear their masks and whatnot. And Danny surprised me, went to go see Our Lady Peace. And we get in there, and the way it was set up, it was all just on a flat floor. There was no raised stage or anything. It was us and about maybe 30, 40 other people just standing in front of them. Like the guitarist, we bought drink for, we sat there, it was just face to face, and they played. And it was like the most for you show. Like it was such a isolated yet amazing feeling. Like they were just flat on the ground with the fans singing along, and they didn't care about hey, you guys don't have to keep up with the masks, you can go ahead and you can make it work. So they let us sing along, and they let us go ahead and have a blast. So that's a huge memory, and I was really, really grateful for that. Point I was making though initially, as I'm getting back to all this, is I really miss going live music. I wanted to take Danny to see Linkin Park, and I'm like, oh, I'm sure it'll be a little pricey, but how bad can it be? It's like $700 a ticket, Cody.
That's fucking insanity.
I just
things anymore. Like
well,
everything's so fucking expensive.
I know bands lost money because of streaming fucking them over, and because they used to make sales, the albums, all that kind of stuff, and that's where they got a good chunk of their money. Even though the rates for recording artists isn't great with their contracts, it's just now they have piss poor rates for streaming. They don't get paid what they nearly did before, so that's why you see bands touring all the time and so much, because that's how they make their money. That's why they're pushing their merch. That's why. And a lot of times the bands don't want to charge as much as they're being forced to. Like My Chemical Romance said they wanted to get out of Ticketmaster, but then they couldn't play at like 19 of the 22 arenas they were scheduled for because they have exclusive deals with Ticketmaster. So the monopoly they hold people over is just, it's sickening. And it's astounding in a way that they can have such greed, but like I said last night, some of the Mania shows seats were behind the Tron, so you're nosebleed, but behind the stage. And the way the stage was, as you saw, it's stacked upwards.
Or something?
So you can almost see underneath the SmackDown logo right here, that spot right there where I'm moving my cursor, moving the SmackDown logo. So over in that corner there, right where the WrestleMania sign is now currently residing, that spot went ahead and was selling and you had to buy two. $696. You have an obstructed view. You can't see the screen. You can't see the ring. You can't see the pyro. You got this fucking big building in front of you.
The seats they did on the stage.
That was a cool look to it. I will gladly take that. And
I would take those seats on the fucking stage.
I just don't get why no Travis Scott, why no Rock on SmackDown or Raw. They should have come out. This story, I'm trying to be patient. I don't want to be a critic. I want to be a fan, Triple H, but you're not making it easy.
Sorry, but I'm patient. I mean, like, how more patient can we be? Like, fucking, it's WrestleMania night 2, day of, and we still haven't seen the light of day or either of those two.
And that's the thing. It was such a specifically important, moment.
At this point, though, Triple H, I don't know why he announced it. It should have just been a surprise. Triple H announced Travis Scott will be there tonight.
Would have been great, right?
Just kept
give us something. The Rock was such a monumental and massive part of it. Sorry, I'm trying to find something to share with you guys. But it's such a massive and monumental catalyst to John Cena's heel turn. And then for what? Why? Why did he? Why did he end up turning with The Rock?
The main purpose of why Cena turned heel, because Cena didn't turn heel on his own, because if you see those facial react, Cena looks like he just lost his soul when he stared dead face to The Rock.
You're not wrong. And then nothing for weeks, and then when we finally did get John, it was you people. Cody's talking to belts. Yeah,
Cody Rhodes was on Raw or SmackDown where he had all the, I forgot. Correct.
That was SmackDown, I believe. So
he had all the other titles. He had the spinner belt there. He had every fucking WWE championship design in history, and he cut a promo with belts, and Cena was cutting promos on the audience,
and that was it. And finally, he got his hands on him. I thought that was it. Honestly, once he got his hands on him, I'm like, oh, there we go.
Cena getting laid out twice back to back now.
Twice.
So I don't know if he loses now if he's getting laid out.
That's what I'm saying. I keep going back and forth. I'm more flippant than a virgin on prom night, but.
For me, the two most unpredictable matches are Drew and Damian, because they literally can just do either or on that, and Cena and Cody Rhodes, the main one, is very unpredictable.
It is. It is unpredictable, and it is a bit baffling, honestly. Like I'm not sure what to think of it all, and I genuinely wonder because there's so many potential avenues. There's so many ways this can go. So much needed coffee. That's right. I've got more than one cup. I am prepared. But not having The Rock, low pitch, you people. It was just John doing the "you disgust me." Cody, Paul's saying, Liz is saying that Cody's going to win. It is funny how the Americans can't make a chant of their own. They have to do everything the overseas crew does. It's like, that's their football chants. Roman Reigns, CM Punk. We can just do the same chant.
They just thought it just sounded cool to them, and then
the goddamn French fans make you sound like imbeciles. They're going on, then they got all this shit flying, and they're all in unison, clapping, jumping, snapping. Here we are. We can't even get any type of simple chant. Even just to get at one point, like they were cheering for Roman, but then they had CM Punk chants, but it was so like smattered. It was loud, but no one was in the fucking right sync. So it was just like CM Punk. It's all the echo, and the crowd was lit. But I do appreciate
US
that.
Crowds, they show that they suck compared to European crowds for sure.
Hey, there we go. Now I accepted it. But
United States crowds, probably didn't even know those were there's. I'm gonna be controversial here and call it soccer. They're soccer teams. That's their kind of chance, and then the United States crowds are like, "Oh, that sounds cool. We'll just use it."
Yeah, exactly. And I like what you said though in the chat. It's funny.
Right?
Throwing croissants in the air. I miss the France crowd. I do. I agree, Paul. Nick said, I'd love Cena's stable to debut tonight. Now, Sith and many others have said this.
I predicted something like this last night.
You did as well. I mean, we've heard so far, it's happened quite a few times now where we've heard the people line up the "it's best for business" line.
I'm going with my gut. Maybe not Drew McIntyre. That can be a hit or miss there, but I'm going with Cena, Rock, Rollins, Paul, and potentially Drew McIntyre all stand tall together at the end of WrestleMania Night 2.
I was not in uniform, sorry.
Drew McIntyre working alone, but like if you see those clips, The Rock and Drew always had these backstage or teasers when Drew resigned to WWE, and The Rock and Drew made a deal there, and then it
is something. So
show, The Rock talked to him and whispered something and promised me this, and I got you with that, and maybe there's stuff because Drew I think likes The Rock. It's the rest of the bloodline he doesn't like.
Well, here's the thing. If they are, I don't know how I feel about the stable idea. I'm curious to see what happens with Seth saying best for business. I mean, could you picture Seth in the Hollywood Elite with Rock and Cena? It seems like Cena's going to be here. They have him scheduled for multiple dates going forward. They want to go ahead and he's going to be featured for Saturday night's main event. They already sold the tickets with his name being on the card. Imagine he got injured at this point. Dear fuck.
Seth has every reason to sell his soul.
Absolutely.
Because,
and how many times has Seth sold his soul before? There's always a plan B.
Seth Rollins, you didn't say it publicly, but how pissed is Seth at Cody Rhodes? He has the same reasons as Kevin Owens, because Seth Rollins sacrificed his own championship last year because he had to worry about doing Cody's dirty work,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he lost his own championship and made sure Cody won his championship. Down Roman. All for Cody Rhodes, just to team with Roman.
Right? All came back to circle, and like Cody said,
some people are just saying, "Well, yeah, that's not a reason to turn heel." Yeah, I'm like, that's a justifiable way to turn heel. How would you like it if you went for this run that said how bad this person was, and you busted your ass for them just at the end of it for them to.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I keep going back and forth. And I know it's a terrible way to say it, but I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch, how do you get it to work? And it's like, all right, what's going to happen? How's it going to work? Is Cena going to win? Is it going to win clean? Is there going to be fuckery involved? Is Seth going to help him? Is The Rock going to help him? Is Stone Cold going to come out? What goes on in the future? So now if Cena does have the belt, does Cody going to take some time off, or does he go right into hunt mode? Because it seemed like we're getting Randy Orton taking on the champ at the next pay-per-view. So, because that's in his hometown. What is that, St. Louis? So it is a bit, concerning. But overall, I am curious to see what comes of it. I lowered the bit rate down a little bit too, bud. So now we'll see what comes of it and if it helps at all. But we had Paul there for a second. But if you come back, sir, we will bring you in as well. I can't see them pulling the title off of Cody only after a year. I could, though. I mean, he's defended it well, and what's great about Cody is, he told his story, right? So what do you got to do? You got to start the new ones, new chapter, and I don't know. It's like you said, I can see them pulling the belts off, but then again, I can't. I mean, he beat Gunther to be the true champ of champs, and at that time, Gunther was inevitable. He was Thanos, you weren't stopping him.
They could have a situation where there's where Seth goes and beats Jay for his championship, and Cena wins Cody's championship, so they have all the titles. Then you can do, because Jacob Fatu is going to be a babyface, you can do like Drew and Jacob for the United States title. Maybe just build the stable up big.
Yeah, they could fill it up big, and I don't want it to be akin to the NWO type stuff, but I mean they keep comparing the Hogan turn to the Cena turn and vice versa. It's certainly compelling, because what do they do if Cena doesn't win here? I want Cody. I'm thinking Cena wins, though. Cody laid him out twice in the middle of the ring. Usually we know that's a death sentence.
Public about this. I want Cena, and I hope it's Cena.
All right. You're through and through for this one. I'm
all over. Oh, that sounds dirty.
Bring it on. The dirtier, the better. That's what I said. Bring those bananas on. Last little quick minute recap here.
Apples,
I'm out of apples. Jade Cargill is making Naomi pay. I agree, but again, not a great showing. This was the third match now that kind of felt somewhat disjointed and not on the WrestleMania caliber level. Even the entrances, like Jay's entrance was cool with the yeet flags, but really it was just him coming to the crowd. I thought they would do a little more grandiose, I guess, but Naomi looked
like
good.
A Raw and SmackDown mixed night one besides the main event and opener.
Yeah.
I think, it was Monday Night Smack Raw or something.
Monday Night Smack them down. Exactly. So Naomi looked good. It was funny that Jade had the visible nip slip, so everybody keeps calling her Jade Nip. We got Jacob Fatu as the new U.S. title holder. The BFT out of nowhere. I loved that. That was fantastic.
That was
such a great move.
Full finish.
That I can't say that enough. I mean,
I personally thought that was it for a second, because before that I wasn't convinced that LA Knight would see the day with that United States Championship after last night, but they had me there like, oh shit, they're actually gonna pin Fatu. But after Fatu kicked out of that, he knew.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not playing the audio, obviously, but you can see in the background I'm skipping through. I want to get that right here where he gets it. He goes, and the way this man moves is incredible to begin with. 1, 2, 3, and then look at that. Like, wow, how is that so perfect? The spear into the pedigree was really cool. I wonder if we could find that quick. I'm sure someone has that short.
When I try to watch it from,
and boom, right there. And it's like, oh, you think you're going to get it? But, They
Because the stream has been hidden.
yes, on my end, but
Yeah. So like I have to wait.
you gotta wait. You
little
got the look
delay.
at that pedigree. You get the poor man's version. So you would have to click on watch stream, and then you can watch the stream. By the way,
I did. And
still going into La La Land for you.
yeah, it's just showing me like
Well, let me try it this way then. In the meantime, though, we got some great moments, but I don't think Jade needed to win here. I don't disagree with Jacob Fatu winning. That was a good call. Ray Phoenix being the the one to go ahead and work his way in was cool. I am appreciative that he got a chance to wrestle already at WrestleMania. That was great. And then El Grande, coming out on top. That was one of the better matches. It was fun. The Tiffany and Charlotte match, they ruined the intrigue by having them fight in the parking lot. So you're like, oh, they can do business together. But then in this match, it felt like they couldn't do business together. It seemed like they just really, went ahead and I don't know. It was wonky. It was clunky. Doing the face fucking finale was hilarious. I'm glad that Tiffany Charlotte pulled that out and did it so mockingly as like a fuck you. So maybe we see her make a trek down to NXT at some point. Could be interesting. And then, as we covered before, Seth and Paul Heyman doing the unthinkable. Turns on Punk, turns on Roman. Even Seth yelling out, "You don't have Mox. You don't have anyone. You have nothing," was fucking just awesome. I loved that moment.
beautiful.
It was good fan service, but it was done in such a way where it was smart because it wasn't overstated. It wasn't like, oh, what did I miss out? If you know, you know. If you don't know, because they could have said Dean, they could have said Ambrose. No, you don't have Mox. So it was a little touch for them. Cool to mention. We got the shock news that they didn't just partner with AAA; they acquired them. Seeing El Vikingo, coming out there for the end of the Lucha Extravaganza was cool. Obviously, there's only so much you can get out of Chad Gable as El Grande Americano, but we'll see what happens. Paul, my good man, what's going on, bud? How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Happy Easter.
All right. Happy Easter. Happy 420, more importantly, to you guys.
There we are, my friend. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it was I don't want to call it a lackluster night one, but it certainly didn't live up to the hype.
No. Talk about taking me back. Oh my God, you just lackluster. That was my other old catchphrase before foregone conclusion. Lackluster indeed, because it wasn't. But it just didn't live up to the incredible expectations that a WrestleMania has. When you think back to last year, and I had this pulled up before, and I'm so unprepared, I apologize, but if you look at what happened for both nights last year, it's a little bit almost like, wow, this year feels really kind of less than. They started off night one hot right away, and we got Rhea Ripley taking on Becky Lynch. Both amazing entrances. My favorite Becky Lynch entrance, my favorite Rhea entrance. They had Gunther and Sami Zayn. They had the 6-pack ladder match for the titles, the tag titles. That was actually really good. And they had Bianca, Naomi, and Jade taking on Damage Control. It was a decent match, nothing amazing. And then Ray and Dragon Lee against Santos and Dominic. And then you obviously had the what do you call it? Bloodline rules match, for night two.
It'll be Bloodline rules.
Couldn't think of the bloodline word. So this is lack of sleep and coffee brain. But yeah, Rock and Roman beating Cody and Seth was expected but cool. It was fun. The Rock did a great job in the ring. So, LA Knight and AJ Styles night two was good, but I feel like night one really came out swinging hard, and this just, I'm sorry, it didn't live up to the extended build that we got. I mean, they for so long had to hold off because, all right, they're overseas and they've got to go ahead and make sure which talent is available. And those extra few weeks, a lot of things felt like they peaked 2-3 weeks ago. And trying to go past that, just, it doesn't seem feasible.
Is it me, or does Ray Phoenix not look as good as he did in AEW? Because I don't know if it's him trying to adapt to a more WWE style or all the injuries that he had, because he was injured a lot in AEW. One particular movie, like his arm got caught behind him.
Yeah, he broke his arm bad. He got fucked up quite a bit. Like I said, the best match I've seen from AEW in person was him and Jungle Boy, because Phoenix was making the crowd go silent and chopping the shit out of him. He treated him like a little jungle bitch, and it was fun and impressive. But I think there's been a few like miscues, especially with this match, because it was like, hey, you've got to replace Ray now, like go. Clearly not what they had in mind. It sucks that Ray was on crutches and injured. There's a ceiling to this. There's only so far you can go with the comedy of Chad being the, you know, the masked wrestler, El Grande Americano from the Gulf of America. And I love that they still announced that, then had to course correct, but they got it out there. What were you thinking for night one, Paul?
It's his character. I don't know why they have to. Sorry, Paul, but
no, you go.
Quick,
You're Cody.
I don't understand why they had to change it, because it just fits the Americano thing, Gulf of America. I don't understand it.
They succumb to the online backlash. You know, anybody gets upset and publicly traded, they don't want to have any issues. So now I'll ask you, Paul, what are your thoughts on night one? What are your main takeaways?
Well, I'll just say about that. I think that was a way for them to cover their ass in two different ways. You know,
yeah.
To not piss off all the liberals, but not also piss off all the conservatives out there. They kind of got both.
Yeah.
They kind of got it both ways. So I think that's why they did that. But night one for me, like I said, I had a lot of hype going into this. I was watching wrestling constantly since SmackDown, leading into the Hall of Fame, which I gotta say, if you haven't watched the Hall of Fame yet, get on that immediately.
I've gotten like very briefly into it. My plan was after this stream to go ahead and finally finish it, but it was damn good.
I don't know if I'm turning into like an old sappy bitch, probably. But man, it had me tearing up a lot. Like the Triple H stuff, he went over an hour, and he touched on people that he met in a gym somewhere, telling him that, you know, you need to try this, you need to be a wrestler. So it kind of struck a chord with me a little bit, you know, being on my own creative journey and stuff, trying to make something of myself. So it kind of struck a chord with me and got me a little emotional.
Yeah,
that was the Hall of Fame. But speaking of night one, it just didn't live up to the hype for me. What you mentioned about night one last year, some of those matches, they don't sound like anything to me. They don't sound like marquee matches, but the matches themselves were
delivered
better than what we got. Yes, they delivered. We didn't really get that last night. We got the names, you know, we got a lot of, you know, hey, LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. But for me, it just didn't hit as hard as it could have. They did. I feel like we needed a little bit more in the crowd. We needed a little bit more outside.
Yeah, we were waiting for those big WrestleMania moments, and it just didn't happen. And that was concerning in a way, but also troubling. I genuinely wondered and worried, you know, like, how does this progress? What comes of it? And sadly, the way that we went ahead and had it all built up for night one, it just wasn't great. Yeah, Seth's been leaving clues as well. I saw this the other day. So the way he's been mimicking The Rock's style and going ahead and basically just being The Rock. Then he says it's best for business and whatnot. So I'll pull that up on the stream now. But I mean, that's why it's been upsetting to not have The Rock there. If Seth is going to join him, if this is what we are getting, then why not do this sooner? Why not? That's kind of, I don't know. I'm trying to be patient, like we said, but it's been an 8-week build. Cena turns heel. It is the biggest thing in wrestling in a long time. Literally the biggest thing. Right here, you see it, you know, the same with the mic. He's got the, you know, the same vest, the chain, the famous fanny pack, you know, chain necklace. I saw people pointing that out a few weeks ago, and it's certainly an interesting point. That lends more credence, especially with him saying, "Hey, best for business," and everything he said about leaning forward with the company. He clearly hates Punk, but he seemingly hates Cody too. I don't know. It's a little odd.
It's like a band's second album, okay? You're all pumped for that debut. Cody is chasing the title. He's going to finish his story. That debut album hits, and you're like, this is fucking amazing. But then the band gets popular, and they release their second album to the pressures of the music business, their manager. It doesn't quite sound the same.
Yeah.
It's still the band. There's still a little bit of that hype, but the record just doesn't sound as good as it did the first time around. I think that's another problem we're having right now is we're not there on that chase.
Yeah,
anymore.
but there was certainly a few of those moments. You nailed that where you don't have the follow up. WrestleMania 40, everything was compelling because of the stories being told. Father versus son, and Ray and Dominic, Becky being unsure of herself and fighting forward and releasing her book and being so open and being so willing to express herself in such a vulnerable way. And Rhea, trying to be dominant while really fighting, so deep of the insecurities on the inside, and so on and so on. As where last night, there wasn't a ton of story. It was pretty much, I'm facing you, you're facing me, and that's what we're getting. Oh,
we're facing each other.
We're facing each other. I mean, it was a bit of a shock the way they did it with Seth having Paul side with him, but again, it was laid out in a very predictable way. Yeah,
you know what? Everybody's predictions turned into Seth is going to win and he's going to side with Heyman, and that's exactly what they did. I was kind of a little disappointed almost because everybody and their mother predicted that finish to happen. So
yeah.
I was kind of a little bit let down by just the predictability of it all.
You're not wrong. Exactly, not surprised, but a little bit like I'm not totally underwhelmed, but I was whelmed. It's lacking certainly, and going through all of it piece by piece, getting in the ring. We don't know who's going to be Randy Orton's opponent tonight. It could be Nick Aldis. It could be Rusev on Rusev Day. I mean, that's amazing. It lines up perfectly.
If we get Rusev coming out in a tank again, I'm there for that, bro. I'm all there for that.
Mm-hmm. I
Lana signed
love
a Legends
that.
deal.
Yeah.
Lana signed a Legends deal, bro, so we could be seeing Lana on TV. I mean, hey, Rusev and Lana, they were money, bro. They were money, so I would gladly welcome them back on my screen.
So apparently they went ahead and made it be known that although she has the Legends contract, she's not coming back with Rusev. So he's doing just a thing on his own. She has no interest in, I guess, or no desire to rush back into it. So crazy to see.
How do you put the genie back in the bottle? We already know she doesn't speak Russian. So
yeah,
I mean, how do you do that again?
Now, yeah, I think they could still have her be his advocate, but all the silly stuff of them splitting and she's with Bobby Lashley in the wedding and then Liv loved her lesbianness and what a mess. That was in Hartford too. I had the tickets for that and I chose actively to not go. And everyone was like, how could you not go? Well, I was like, I couldn't. I literally could not sit there and want to deal with this. One of the people that I do like watching is Mr. Pro Wrestling Bits. And Sir Alfred there, and Twitter is, this is nasty. He's got I don't want to say hate boner for AEW, but he certainly lets them be knocked down a few pegs. And he's got some great content. So I'm curious to hear his thoughts on WrestleMania. But he says that he's writing jokes for the roast, how you would write them.
After the show.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed too that the roast isn't going to happen. And I have to shout out, man, you mentioned that Tommy roast. Holy crap, dude. I haven't thought about that in years, bro. I was so sad that never happened.
You and me both.
So
you
excited.
and me both. I could not believe. I showed it to Connor the other day. I'm like, oh, because I finally was able to upgrade my phone, a few weeks back. Because I no longer have the broken, dead, old piece of shit. That thing was like 12 years old. So when I found all these jokes, I'm like, oh, Tommy's DNA is 48% Italian and 52% attention whore. Instead of hats off, I'll say helmets off to you, you autist. I said Tommy would be an alcoholic in recovery, but we know 12 steps is too far for him to walk.
Jesus.
Tommy argues he doesn't work at Wendy's. That's the truth, is he was fired for eating a month's worth of nuggets in one shift. Tommy's real father is actually a priest, making Tommy the only boy he's never hugged.
Oh, he would have fucking lost his mind at that one, bro. He would have lost his mind. Oh my God. Wasn't Dave Rose supposed to moderate this? Or
Yes, yeah, he was going to be the host for that. So that's why I said there were people on that dais, and it was going to be. I said Tommy started forest fires to practice burning bridges. I said I respect, but I can see TikTok, and I know why he was adopted. What else do I got here? Like I said, just finding all these notes. I said Tommy's anger scares me. He could kill someone. That's why we don't mention his first relationship. I said, Tommy, you're so immature. You'd eat pussy with the crust cut off. Remember Tommy who kept saying that he's God, he's Jesus. I'm like, Tommy, if you're Jesus, then I need more nails. You know, like I really had some of them that was going to be good, but I wish I could find more. Tommy celebrates Black History Month at Foot Locker. That's a good one.
Bro, this needs to happen. This needs to happen.
I love writing stuff like that, you know, and that's the thing. I think it would have pissed him off beyond belief, but it would have popped everybody else. I think we would have had a good time. So I am.
You would have lost him on the pre-cum joke, bro. You would have lost him on that pre-cum joke.
I got a couple thrown his way, and he was actually like pretty cool about taking some of it in stride, but they were also pretty easy too. So I don't know if he knew quite what was in store for him, but I think it'd be fun if we did some type of silly roast for the extra live stream this year. We're already bringing back Jake and a Hoagie. We'll have to see what we can plan, but you know, you, Cody, myself, like we said, everybody was just a little bit of disappointment in the air for night one, but it wasn't, hey, I didn't get my way, so I hated it. I see so many people upset that how Gunther lost. I get it. We don't want to see him tap. I'm disappointed that he didn't just, you know, pass out. They let everybody fucking pass out all the time. It's so overused that it doesn't feel effective and worthy anymore of the gravitas of the situation. And they make him.
Yeah, but doesn't it make Gunther look like a bitch, bro?
It
doesn't
does.
It make him look like an absolute pussy? Dude, it could have been why couldn't it have been like a sharpshooter or something like that, bro? Why did it have to be his own fucking move? I get that. I get the point of the story that Jay was so mad. He was so angry that he had to beat Gunther with his own move and embarrass him like that. I get it, but is it really worth sacrificing Gunther as a character, as a badass that we all know him as? Is it really worth sacrificing that? People think that maybe it won't affect him that bad, but it's ruined him partially for me in my mind's eye.
Oh, absolutely. And not just for you. There's quite a few people that are not happy campers. That's for sure. Hey, look at that. I was able to add a little bit of video, you know, but I'm testing things in the stream. So you get to wave hi to the sexy people. I'm still prepping for the Mania stuff tonight. My buddy Patrick, unfortunately, before he got sick, I redid all of the audio. So I turned this mic. It has a really cool feature where you can use it like a shotgun mic. So you can back it up and you can just, you know, wherever you aim it, it's going to hear it. So if Milo is even slightly barking over there, it's going to blast your ears. It's very sensitive. So I can be back here and it still picks me up pretty decent. It sounds like I'm rather close. Obviously, there's a bit of a volume, but with that mode, you can go ahead and get like a very small cone. What I was going to do is, because I only have the access for one microphone now, I'm not using the old mixer. The new one only has the one XLR port. So instead of using two mics, I turned this mic into a shotgun mic. So it took me like 2 hours to set up all the audio. And then he messaged me like, I'm dying, I can't make it. I'm like, okay, rewind, because if we had anybody else on, he wasn't going to be able to hear them. We're not able to share the headphone kind of deal. So I had everything routed through the speakers, and it was an effort. And for that, I give myself a little bit of pyro. I paid for it. Might as well come. Where is it? Come on, blow this shit up. Milo, hit the button. Good boy. Train him eventually.
There it is, bro. You know what? I love it. I love that all of your work that you've been putting into the production of your shows and the audio, everything, even from when you started doing this again a couple months ago, man, the evolution that you've had is incredible. I love you. Hey, man, I love Cody on the show. I love all your co-hosts. Liz is great, Patrick, but I love you just on your own too, Jake. You are absolute money, bro. And I love being on the show, but I will be a listener forever as long as you keep doing this, man. I love it.
I appreciate hearing that. Let me know if you guys are seeing everything in the chat working still. Sid said, anyone else getting YouTube loading? I still see Stream Health excellent, but sometimes, I don't know, Streamlabs and, or not Streamlabs, XSplit can be very weird. So if it is having any more issues, let me know. That was about 2 minutes ago, but we should be good. Maybe when I switch sides. But yeah, granted, oh, sweet. Liz got her Cody versus John Cena shirt, the one that they had for WrestleMania. That looks fantastic. Gonna be a hell of a
That's
shirt.
pretty cool, but that's
Yeah.
not as cool as the Kevin Owens Randy Orton shirt was going to be.
I know. That the Cena and friggin', you know, that Cody shirt, that is badass. I would wear that with pride, but I agree. That Kevin Owens shirt was gonna be a banger. It is like I said, my neck's fused. I get it. It's fucked. It's hard to come back from that. And for him to deal with that type of neck injury in the middle of January and then goes ahead and has that ladder match. Think about the ending of the ladder match now, knowing that he has such a loss of feeling. He's in pain. The spot where they completely just finished him off there. He folded up like an accordion.
Brother, as another person with neck problems, I don't know how he did that. And that was at the Elimination Chamber, was it not? That match with Sammy? Was that the Elimination Chamber?
Yes, that one was at the Chamber, and the ladder match was at the Royal Rumble. So he got finished by Cody and like planted into the ladder. Remember, his head went through the rungs and he was on his neck like upside down. So we got that, and then poor bastard went ahead and beat the shit out of him and, you know, Sammy each other. They went at it, no doubt about it.
Yeah, you can't say Kevin Owens hasn't given his entire body to this business. He is definitely a future Hall of Famer. I mean, I'm a big fan of KO. I hope he comes back. I hope he can recover from this. But neck issues are no joke, man. That is no joke right there.
They are not, and you know, you and I can attest to it. So him going ahead and getting that surgery, I wish him the best. I think that's going to be probably the best thing for him moving forward. And then, you know, he's going to have to see, but it's going to take at least a year on the like conservative side. Honestly, like this is it's not a quick road. This is a arduous process. I don't think he's going to have to go ahead and like I was, where you have to learn how to walk because he's not having full like brain decompression. But any spinal surgery like that, it's not easy to deal with. So actually, yeah, you can see my neck here, and the first part, see how it's got like that light gray side right there. They went ahead and they removed that bone. So where the light gray is, I don't have that occipital bone in the back of my head. They took that out, and it's all a titanium mesh net. And then you can see like straight up to where my vertebrae is all like crooked and shit. That's the first fusion, and then it's fused to the second one. So my neck is inverted at that point. And I had to learn to walk and talk, and that's why I did Rock Band and all that stuff. Worked great. Go figure.
Do you do the Batman turn? Do you not turn your neck? Do you just
No, I can move. I gained a good range of motion. I've got my, you know, set of scars. Scar. They're all the way back.
That's a gnarly scar, bro.
I'm loaded with them, but my sexy self, I'll get dressed up for you later. Don't you worry, baby. I told Cody I'd make it special. I'll give him an Easter date. You know,
I love it, bro. Hey, I will definitely be here for night 2 tonight. So if you're hopping on and you're having more people for
we are gonna open up everybody in the stream tonight later on. Exactly. We're gonna have everybody hanging out.
Get someone to get an interview with us soon. So
that would be crazy if it happens. I mean, we've had some luck before. I don't know. Has anyone else experienced constant YouTube buffering? No, Sith. I think it might just be you. I've checked on multiple devices. My phone and everything else seems to be going well, but
Sith, you're gonna have to cut back on those donations and invest in some business internet.
You need dial up.
Bro, I can still hear that fucking dial-up sound, dude. 56K internet, I can still hear that in my head.
So when I got out of foster care, before I emancipated myself and divorced my parents, I had to prove like financial stability with working and all that stuff. Like you could do it on your own. So eventually I got it to where I could live with my grandmother and I just had to pay her rent. You know, she didn't actually take it from me. She helped me put money aside and whatnot. But it was funny, as you said, to have that kind of like early thought, you know, you gotta be prepared for what's to come, or so you think. But
Yeah.
I getting there needed internet for schoolwork and stuff. And I remember in the mail you used to get the like AOL discs. So when you went ahead and you signed on to the disc, it had to connect you to the internet so that you could sign up for everything. So all you had to do was run that and then hit Alt-Tab and go to the next screen, and you could use the internet unlimited. And that worked for me for like a year and a half. And it was slow as shit, but damn, was it, you know, something surprising. Music, Mr. Maniac, he says, I'm pretty positive night 2 will be better than night 1. I bet my left nut that is a true statement. And you can just keep the right one if I lose it. So I'll make it a double package. He says, I'm still giving night 1 a 6 out of 10. We'll see what happens on night 2. I'm still going to watch the whole thing. Oh, I am in. And yes, Mr. Pico, Bionic, DeMarco. See, Liz is smart. She's having a Mania pizza party. I was, you know.
Hell yeah.
Pizza party
love
sounds better
pizza,
than my
bro.
plan. I was just going to have a beef bukkake, but pizza party sounds much better. Jeez.
I was gonna have your beef bukkake.
Oh, Jesus. Don't tell everybody that yet. Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was supposed to be revealed later
So,
on. But
hold on. Let me embarrass myself more here. Hold on. Let me grab it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having Chinese tonight. My favorite dish, cream of some young guy.
I was going to say, what's his name? But you beat me to it. Damn it. So, I'm gay, which you knew, but no. I have my fag bag. I've got my man purse. I've got my meat in my seat. I take it everywhere with me. Why? Because I've got EpiPens for injectors. I've got all meds. I've got a whole load of stuff. I've got dog treats. I've got gloves in case I got to pick up poop from Milo because he is an actual service dog. He alerts me before I have migraines now. So the way he's trained, it's so impressive. When he goes into like stores and stuff, he's very protective of me. So I have my, 14-pound man muffin, but my pack got stolen. So they got nothing. They got my therapy journal and all that stuff. My original one, they broke our car window and stole my pack out of it. My wife and I were at the gym and she's like, oh, I'll go put that in the car for you. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to leave it in the locker. It's safer. And she's like, no, I don't feel like going and getting the locker because it was her thing. I'm her guest. So she has to go and do the whole locker thing. So she's like, yeah, we're just going quick. I don't need it today. So she was going to take a bit longer. I go outside like 20 minutes later to grab something from the car. And I'm like, the window's smashed. There's glass everywhere. And the only thing they stole was my bag. So I got a new bag now. Like I said, I got my man purse and I keep everything with it. So there is a point to this story, my good friend. Like I said, you guys got me no sleep and full of coffee. I'm rambling. So,
I fucking love it. That's the best version, bro.
Exactly.
That's
Monday,
5 hours of sleep.
I had the MRI and I ran to the doctor that day on Monday. I had to go see ortho. On the second floor is ortho. Third floor is the OBGYN. My wife had the appointment, so we went together. She comes with me to ortho. I go with her to the gynecologist. What fun, right? I could never bitch about a doctor putting a finger up my ass again after seeing what the hell they shove inside her every time. But point being, I had my bag open and I was grabbing out the little, calendar book I have to write everything down. So I left my bag open like that. I didn't realize that my wife, being a wise ass, then filled my bag with so many fucking condoms. And I mean like an obscene amount of condoms, at least 30 or 40. I'm not exaggerating. That's why I have one on the banana as a joke. I don't think I've seen a condom in 17 years, but granted, I'm looking for more than they may not be in here. So here's a couple. See, there's stragglers. I knew there were. So I'm still finding them. So I go to Walmart after that and I run in and the way she had like stuffed it, it didn't look like it was overflowing, but it was like filled to the brim. It was soon as I'm standing in Walmart, I'm going to go pay. I open my bag like this, and just condoms fall everywhere, just all over the place. And I don't even think I told her this full story yet. So I'm looking around, and one of the cashiers just kind of looks at me, and I mean, like, there's all different sizes and colors and shapes. I mean, there's flavored ones, there's lube packets too, the little like sample lube squares. I am loaded in sex, prophylactic. So I'm now picking up all of my collection of condoms and trial lubes, and I'm putting it into my bag, and everyone's just looking at me, and I'm just like, any takers? So, great start to my Mania week. Oh, chat. I'm sorry. I do need the pap smear. I am due for one, but yeah, I did donate the rubbers to my whore neighbor, so maybe she'll get pregnant again. Who knows? Granted, I think night 2 will definitely be a blast. There's a lot to look forward to.
I think night 2 will also be better because I think every match has the potential to be good.
Damn straight.
But
I mean,
I'm like,
are we going to get the true what we're looking for? Because on Friday we had Sol Ruka's asshole. On Saturday we had Jay Cargill's tits. Are we going to get Liv Morgan's pussy tonight? Is really the big question, I think, of Mania Night 2.
I don't know if I'm going to take the bet for lip or no lip, but I'm telling you, there's something in the water, because those girls, it's not as much as I'm a hornball. I love it. You look great, but it's almost like not necessary. Sometimes this sounds so, opposite, but it is a bit of a distraction, no? Like, it's just, there's too much plot. Stephanie Vacour doing the face fucking finale and just popping on everybody. She had a great moment, Cody, where she gets it on each girl. So she does it to Jada, I think, first. And Jada sold the living shit out of it. She was slamming her hands down. She gets 5 with her, and then 5 with Jordan Grace, and then she hits 10 of them on Julia. So just a great crowd interaction moment. They chanted and just went nuts for it. And Booker T almost had a fucking heart attack. He was
Booker T came 3 times.
Yeah.
He came 3. No, actually he came 5 times. 5 times. 5 times. 5 times. 5 times. He came 5 times.
Somebody had to say it.
Mania.
It's a WrestleMania bash, baby. Accept my load and I'll clean your washer. We got AJ Styles and Logan Paul. Mr. Phenomenal. Mr. Phenomenal and Mr. Logan Paul. No, Logan is damn good.
People in the forest.
Yeah, he is exceptionally amazing in the ring. He's got such a athletic prowess, and he doesn't treat it like a joke. He doesn't fuck around. Like he's like, I want to do this and I want to do it right. And I want to make myself be presentable in a way that is endearing to the locker room. I don't want to be that, oh, you're just a YouTuber, you're here for a quick buck kind of idea. And Bad Bunny, Stephen Amell, they've had some success with matches, but then we've also had other things like, some not so great celebrity moments, like what was his name that faced Cain Velasquez? Oh, what a fucking waste that was. And so on. So Logan, exceptional in the ring for what he's been able to accomplish in such a short span of time is truly impressive. He's also worked with the greats of the greats and been well taken care of. But he every time, Triple H is right. People want moments, not matches. They don't give a shit who wins. They want to know, how it made them feel. The takeaway, does anybody really Seth won? Seth could have lost last night, but it was all about Paul Heyman turning on those two and teaming with Seth.
Seth had to win, right? Because why would Roman or Punk win? I
get it, but what if
the loser?
Yeah, the same results happen, but then Punk gets up, hits him with a chair, and pins him. Okay, Punk won, but you lost your wise man, you lost your counsel, you lost your advocate. I'm not saying that's a good idea, but it makes sense for Seth to win. Granted, I get that. But there's options, but tonight there's real options. That IC title match, after the Steiner math, I don't know, Braun Breaker might retain. I still would love to see Dominic win by pinning Finn. The
I
girls
told you,
have their
he has
tag
a
titles.
619% chance of winning because his finisher is the 619.
619. I know you've got that math correct. Balor, I would love to see win. I want to see him shine. He's one that he makes everybody look amazing. Him and JD put everybody over consistently and continually. The women's tag match is going to be good. Whoever Lyra's partner is, which I'm assuming is Becky Lynch, they'll get that big pop. But that's one of the X factors of the night. Then we got Randy Orton taking on mystery opponent. Like we said, could be Rusev. Not Aleister Black. He's coming back on SmackDown this week. That's unfortunate. Would have loved to have seen that. But I kind of hope it is Nick Aldis. If it ends up being Solo Sikoa, I think everybody in the arena will just collectively diarrhea themselves. But then we have Io, Rhea, and Bianca. I hope Bianca turns heel. I would love to see Naomi get involved in this and take out Bianca and let them feud, because that whole story, Bianca doesn't fit in the story. It's Io and it's Rhea's story. Io is undefeated when it comes to Rhea Ripley matches. Mommy can't get the job done.
Yes, but Bianca Belair is undefeated at WrestleMania.
So there's the other X factor. Could mean, you know.
I want Bianca to win this match, bro. I think Bianca is money. I think she's good as a potential heel. I think that they need to kind of go full-fledged with her as a heel. I think she could be money, bro. I really do. I think she's better she seems more comfortable having an edge to her than just being that vanilla or maybe chocolate baby face, if you will.
That's one of the things that really turned me off of her. I know I told Cody before. It's just that the hair is a weapon that drives me nuts when she uses that, because you're leaving welts bigger than kendo sticks. And then on top of it, you know, she'd lose and she comes out skipping and smiling. She was always skipping and smiling. And it's not just the attitude, like she never showed anything different. There were no layers to her. There was no depth. It was just very surface level, you know, homogenous, safe. Hey, look, she's a great star. She's the EST. Can't spell WrestleMania without EST. And I am willing to see how she does as a heel. And I don't want everybody to think either like, oh, every time someone's not doing well, you turn them. No. But she's one that hasn't had that heel run, would make, I'm sure, a compelling case for being a heel. And I don't know. It could be fun. Imagine if she was to team up with her husband, you know, in the Street Profits as heels, taking you know, with Bianca on board. There's a lot of potential with things, but I kind of think, you know, if Naomi doesn't get involved, it's still going to come down to Io retaining. I'm. How can they make her lose? You know, again, they could, but it's just, yeah. I think Io is winning. Yeah.
My break here at work is over. I just want to say I love you, Jake. Cody, you are fucking awesome. Love you on these reviews, man. Keep doing them with Jake. I will be back tonight. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be back tonight on Discord to chat with you guys. Subscribe, like, comment. Countdown ended, everybody. Love you, Jake. You guys take care.
He knows it.
Love you, broski. Thank you so much. Great to have Paul stop by. His band is incredible. Yeah, you know, you got a little sweat.
I carried the load there for a second because help me
gave you a chance to go ahead.
I was lost in the plot, you know.
Yeah, I got you lost in the sauce. You're still thinking about Thea Hale dancing to Lola Vice's theme song, shaking her ass.
420, so you know, I'm a little, you know.
I took 600 milligrams worth of gummies. I'm right there with you. Absolutely. You know? And Thea Hale dancing along is got to be probably one of my highlights of that moment. Like that ladder match was so damn good. When you go back and watch it, you're going to be blown away. The thing about the women there too, they had spots that didn't look like rehearsed moments. Like it all flowed very nicely. They did an incredible job. Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm looking at some of these people and I'm telling you, they've got it made. I'm seeing this woman right now sitting poolside, and she's going ahead and watching WrestleMania on the gigantic screen, you know, that's attached. So this is all the hotel. I mean, look at that. It's nice to have the money, honey. I would absolutely kill to be in Vegas. I've never been to WrestleMania. That's a lifelong goal. Hopefully someday.
I've been there. Wasn't supposed to, but it just.
Yeah, you said it worked out. Which one was it? 20.
It was 37.
Oh, 37. Why am I saying 27? 37. I'm way off. Yeah. Yeah, you got a good Mania too
because
coming back out of COVID.
I was already in Florida for that. Then the tickets were like cheap because
You know?
kind of you got really, tickets were like dirt cheap because it was only half filled arena because they
Gotcha. We
still
heard
had to
half
follow
that.
COVID guidelines and not
But I
everyone
got what
would
you're saying.
go.
That's what it was, because it was right as
Am I
COVID.
cutting out?
You were, but you're back now, clear. It's gone ahead and it's working.
Right.
So, yeah, they had for 37. You had a good year with the pirate ship, and that entire setup was a lot of fun. Yeah, Liz went to 33.
It was a vacation, but it's not like a trip because I was in Florida, so then we did like Disney and Universal too. So we got back from Mania at like 3 a.m, and we had to be up at like 6 a.m. to head to Disney. So
that's crazy though. At least you got to experience
when
it.
you're just walking out in the heat and stuff,
Yeah,
So,
especially the humidity down there. Forget it. I sweat enough as is. So
after the 2 weeks, I was exhausted as all hell.
I was supposed to go to what was it, No Way Out, where right before Mania 2000. I used to babysit my neighbor kids, so her daughter that I babysat was actually a month older than me, but I was the babysitter because that's how it worked with immaturity. And so it was her brother, and then her the mother's niece and nephew. So I used to have to watch all 4 kids. So as a thank you, they got me, my friend, and all the kids tickets to go see Backlash. And then some of the older ones and me were going to WrestleMania because that was going to be in New York. And it ended up being where my dad pulled some shady shit and pissed off the mom. And she took away the tickets from me and I couldn't go. So I had tickets to go to Mania, but she went ahead and I was like, yeah, no, it couldn't have been 2000. I think it had, which one did they go to? Because that was in California. Which
2000, right?
I'm trying to think because my timeline always sucks. But no, yeah. So the No Way Out pay-per-view was 2000. That was right. And then the Mania was different. That was a few years later. Whatever they went back to New York. Was it 20?
2001?
I think it was 20 when they went back to MSG in 2004 because we had tickets for that too. And it was, that didn't follow through either. So no go. But someday it's certainly a goal of mine, bucket list item. I would love to eventually see a WrestleMania. I do get upset.
It was Madison Square Garden. They had a WrestleMania in 2004, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? A small arena like that had WrestleMania. What they do with it now?
I know, and how massive it is. I mean, when they were in Connecticut for 11, it was a very small. I think for the Coliseum and stuff. That's torn down. Yeah, Liz says I get goosebumps every time you see that video.
Have any
major stadiums? No, we've got the XL Center in Hartford. We've got the Bridgeport Arena there by the Harbor Yard. I think that's like 12,000. I think the XL's like what, 20,000, something like that. But no, there's no like massive.
They don't do it around us because there's no
there's no large enough. Yeah, we don't have Foxborough. We don't have. Yeah, there's Connecticut gets screwed. We get the shaft. A lot of concerts too skip right over. Danny wants to see Suicide Boys again. This will be the 4th year we're going a grade A tour if we end up going. And goddamn, is that expensive? But she is graduating from high school, so there's got to be some gift. They're playing in Connecticut for the first time in 4 years. Every year we've had to go to Boston. Fucking, oh my, no exaggeration. I shit you not. She would tell you the same. I'll have to find the video of it. But Danny and I were so scared coming back home. So we're on our way back. And this is when we still had the Hyundai, the hell was the name of the fucking car? Acura? No, it was the 4-door sedan that we had beforehand. And Hyundai Elantra. There it was. Couldn't think of the word. So there is a massive storm going on. That's when we were having that like hurricane winds and whatnot in September. And Danny and I are coming back from Boston. You got to go over this big bridge that's over the water. And it was such a heavy downpour that they were starting to close the bridge on the other end. The water was coming up so high for the level that it was up like pretty much to the bottom of where the door starts. And then it just kept rising, and it was going pretty much right above the tires at one point. And I'm like, oh my God, our little car is either going to stall or we're going to die. And finally we made it off the bridge part. And but the water was just rising around us. They got cops behind us and in front of it. Like it was insane. Yeah, 17 is legendary, of course. Going to 17, Mr. Music Maniacs, is absolutely incredible. I wish I had a time machine. I know Spaz went to 18, lucky bastard, in Toronto. So they put it in the dome.
Experiences with supposed to go to. Like I had a friend like in his family like on this like fucking everything. I don't know if I told you this story or not, but like
I don't think so.
They
Well, it seems like you're not going to tell me the story anyways. Hold on, you're buffering again.
Oh, why?
There we go. Now we can hear it clear. It was giving you a little bit of a... Yeah, now you're good. It was giving you a little bit of static.
Oh.
You're clear now.
It's good now, but...
You're good.
So my friend's family, for Clash of Champions, we were supposed to do... Or was it not that? There was some wrestling pay-per-view in the summer, and they said we were going to go. Day of, they canceled. And then...
I've had that happen too.
They offered to go on this cruise, so I had to get my passport and everything because we were going to be in other countries. And day of, they canceled. Then 2 weeks later, they said we're going to do it again. We got it situated, and guess what? Canceled.
That's terrible.
Then they said a third time, all right, we got it situated for real this time, and it takes off in Orlando, so we're going to do Disney and stuff. Guess what happens day of? They fucking cancel. So then they say, we're going to do 2 Monday Night Raws, 2 Friday Night SmackDowns, because it was all in Boston, Rhode Island, New York area. Then like those 3 weeks, so they said they got tickets for all that. And we were going to do a Red Sox game. I would have preferred the Mets. They're Red Sox fans. But
yeah.
You know,
Hey, I've actually never been to a professional baseball game, not the MLB. You know that?
I was
never been to an NFL game either. Not by choice, just not having the chance, especially with nothing local to us.
An NFL game either.
I know. We got to go to I don't care who it is. Giants, Patriots. I eventually want to see some live football. Casey, I see you. I see all.
Just the canceled day of.
Hold on. I'm still doing the threatening eye thing.
Things just happened. I'm like,
I see all. A little bit of lack of sleep, just making sure. I got you, bud. I did enjoy night one. Everybody here made it a great time. Honestly, if I was just watching it by my lonesome, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much as I did. So I really appreciate everybody hanging out with us and tuning in and making it a great night. 6 out of 10 feels right. I try. Yes, I see any and all holes, open or closed. There's no such thing as a locked door with me. Slippery when wet. So I try to avoid giving scores because it's so goddamn arbitrary, and it's really difficult. It's a good way to set in like a certain set of parameters and be like, all right, this is my 10, this is my 1, but everybody's gonna have different things. I like doing out of 10, and people hear like a 6 and they're like, that's bad. I'm like, well, no, it's better than half average, and still, Ray's injury was his groin. Yeah, that sucks. That's painful, Mr. Pico. Paul says night 1, 5.5 out of 10. Last night, in the hype of it, I was like, 7.5. I wouldn't go that high now. I was in the emotions of everything, especially the Seth betrayal, or excuse me, Paul Heyman betrayal and Seth winning.
If they didn't have that show and the main event didn't exist on that show, I would have said that last night would have been like maybe a 3 out of 10.
That main event did a lot of the heavy lifting.
I would say it's like a 6 out of 10.
That's fair. I wouldn't go that low, but Stand and Deliver was like an 8.5, maybe even a 9 out of 10. That tag match was so damn
Wait,
good.
are we talking about night one or Stand and Deliver?
I'm saying as well. No, night one, I gave originally a 7.5, but I'd probably go like 6.5 overall. And Stand and Deliver was like an 8.5 or a
That's
9.
fair.
So good. Like I said,
Maybe I need to watch it again.
oh, you
Maybe
have to. That tag match, it was amazing. The opener with Ricky Saints and Ethan Page was really damn good. Got the crowd going for the Tony Fumbled Rumble chants. The main event with
I
Javon
don't
Trick and
usually watch
Obafemi.
pre-shows because I might just watch that during WrestleMania pre-show because I don't know if I want to watch.
Yeah, there's nothing going on in the pre-show. It's just video packages and interviews. So the ladder match was so much fun and damn good. The story between the family taking on Dark State. Mwah, chef's kiss.
Yeah, any other things? Any other topics that you want to go over?
No, that's about it. We're pretty much winding down from night 2, heading into it strong and fast, my friend. I'm interested to see what happens. Apparently, GCW is a bit of a clusterfuck forever, thus the intended title. But I mean, you had some notable names. I guess people enjoyed themselves, but there was
For me,
Sabu and Joey Janela, and Janela Spring Breakin' was a goddamn barbed wire match. I mean, Sabu should be in a retirement home. I love the man, don't get me wrong, but what the hell is he doing in a barbed wire match? There's so much indie wrestling going on all around, though. I've still not seen Bloodsport. I'm looking forward to catching that. I know Karrion Kross apparently had an amazing showing there.
And Karrion Kross.
Yeah, there was a few
Both
people.
of them had some.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll get on. Maybe I'm overhyping night 2, but I think every match that I'm reading on here, I think we have a potential for every match to be great.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't want to overhype myself here, but you kind of have the same sentiment that I'm feeling here. I'm genuinely more excited
for literally every match on the show. I think every match,
most of these matches were the ones that, I was originally excited for, and they all happened to fall on night 2. I'm really, really interested in that IC title match. That, Liz and I, when we were, everything, absolutely. But that one especially, that was one that I've been really excited for. I love Braun Breaker. Pent has been great since he debuted. Dominic is incredible as a heel.
Braun Breaker is going to spear Liv tonight. Do you think it's going to happen? That's a betting odds.
I wonder. If she's out there, we'll see if she's out there with Dominic. She might not be, depending on when the tag match is and what happens.
Because if the tag team match is first, then she might. Because I think you have to have something with that, right? Or JD,
you would think.
Maybe returns tonight too if he's medically cleared.
Yeah, which could be interesting. Sabukaki, so, Pico.
You think Dom does it himself, or does Liv play a role in the whole? Who wins between Finn and Dom? Do you think she plays a role in that, or no?
Yeah, Liz also made a great point too with Joe Hendry.
His name and
we could see him against Randy Orton. The pop, if they did that and they gave us the moment, my heart can't take it. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon late here. If you guys recall, I was a huge Hendry fan back in ICW. I used to try and get my former host to be like, hey, watch this, you're missing out. Because I love silly wrestling when it's like segmented in a way where it doesn't affect anything else on the card. It's its own thing, and it's just really, it's funny, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. And it knows how to laugh at itself as well. Nothing's taken seriously. So Mr. Hendry, with non-blonde hair, with his black hair still, in the Insane Clown Posse's wrestling, federation. That's a crazy sentence, isn't it? Those guys have had, some of the better shows over the years as far as indie stuff goes. Yeah, fuego everywhere, but they certainly they made their money in gold. I'm telling you. Doesn't RVD live in Vegas? I believe so. You never know, but yeah, I mean, so many possibilities as to who this could be. Who do we get? Like we said, it's not Alistair, but Aldis,
Wait.
Rusev, there's possibilities.
Does Alberto Del Rio work for AAA?
He's their mega champion at this point in time.
Right. So does this mean Alberto Del Rio works for WWE again?
No. So what I've read on the backstage reports so far is that how they're handling it is AAA is purchased by WWE and it's been acquired fully, but they're doing it in such a way where I guess it'll still be it's somewhat independent operation down there. They'll obviously be able to exchange talent.
Like Rey Mysterio may have matches on that.
Yeah, they'll send talent down, maybe up, but I think they were kind of keeping it as it is. Yeah, Paige will come back, and her and Del Rio can.
Standpoint,
maybe you can have Xavier Woods be the ref.
Keeping it a separate entity, like how ROH and AEW kind of that type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's the goal of it. Where
so, like technically ROH people are under AEW contracts, right?
Actually, no, they're under ROH contracts separately because they make less money on ROH. Yeah, like Athena is signed to ROH, not AEW, from what I was reading. It seems like it's all going to be like Big Glenn just said, NXT Mexico eventually. I think that's the plan.
Just because WWE ends it doesn't mean Alberto Del Rio is technically employed by WWE now. Right?
Yeah. And, you know, when we go back and look through like the history of some things, we've seen how they aggressively take over, you know, after an acquisition. So, I mean, a Matt Riddle return versus Randy would be good. No doubt about it. There's certain people in AAA that WWE just acquired. And, I mean, essentially, they do own the talent, right? Or the rights to the talent. You get my point. They're not owning people, but they own their contracts. So
I doubt that they might. Alberto Del Rio might get released. That might be a thing because WWE doesn't.
Or they won't have him with anything to do with WWE, I bet. There's just so much toxic, vitriolic hate that's associated with his name. Rightfully so. He is just a piece of shit. You know, yeah, Riddle is the MLW champ right now. Yep. So, but, you know, it sucks that Riddle got let go. His ego knows no bounds, and I know you want to like believe in yourself, but
tired. Exactly.
I don't remember the exact last fallout. Maybe someone in the chat remembers directly. I forget what the actual. I thanked fans. I forget. Slam somewhere to me. Well, Kevin Owens actually just put out a story. Let's check this out. It says Kevin Owens responds to the criticism of Matt Riddle. He believes that he spurned multiple opportunities during his time with the company. So on the Going Ringside podcast, Matt Riddle was asked about the hardest opponents he faced in the ring. And he said, in terms of like toughest, he said Kevin and Sammy. Hardest opponent, he says, I would have to say Sheamus. Sheamus, easy to work with. He hits really hard. Hardest in the ring, but when I think about who's harder maybe to work with, I would have to say Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens. It's pretty hard to complete sentence together with those guys, if you know what I'm saying. Very different and very difficult. So Owens just eviscerates him here. He said, basically, he said, you were Randy's tag team partner for so long and you got to ride the coattails of a legend and you still managed to screw it all up. He said, not because of your abilities, because you're very talented and very athletic, but because of your attitude and poor choices. For him to say we're hard to work with or whatever, he couldn't get a word in. There's a pretty good reason for that. You look at his track record, you look at our track record, it speaks for itself. If that's how he felt, fine. I can't say he's wrong, but we probably didn't let him get a word in too, just because we've been around him and we work in a certain way. So, I mean, he's basically saying that he's a shithead and my career says everything that you need to know.
People though, because I think, well, Randy Orton, I know hated him at first, but I think Randy Orton ended up liking him because he understood him, because I think Randy used to.
That's right. He had the Port Authority. Remember, he sent out a tweet at JFK Airport saying that one of the agents like touched his junk, and then he deleted the tweet and it turned into like this big drama scenario. TMZ got involved. It was a bad look for WWE. And then they were just like, peace, see ya. Riddle had cocaine and airport problems. As soon as you said it, Paul, it fucking shocked right back into my head.
WWE really liked him.
Yeah. And
especially Vince. I think Vince loved Matt Riddle.
I don't know if he loved him. He liked him early on. They said that him and Vince worked.
He loved the
side by side at
He
times.
looked,
So
I think, that he was a pothead because Vince could make a bunch of jokes. And of
Vince
course, he got the
hated weed
merchandise,
too.
like Torch one.
I was shocked when Riddle, because Vince is very regimented, no drugs in his body in the sense of like, I'm sure he's taken a few things here or there, but realistically, he was very, my body is a temple kind of thing. I mean, look at the shape that he's in. The doves coming from Riddle's ass and the flip flops flying. I liked Riddle. I enjoyed him in NXT. I got to see him live at TakeOver. And I saw him not that long ago. He was doing a local thing here. Yeah, Triple H thanked Vince. You have to thank Vince. Not have to, but you should if it applies to you.
That, like, what could he do? That's his father-in-law at the end of the day.
And I know everyone's touching on, oh, bro, look at this, and those type of comments and whatnot. Oh, you can't say Vince, and get over it. And then to have
Vince's name banned from WWE because
it's not banned, but it's persona non grata. He's not looked at and revered any
not
positive
Christian
way.
Wad, I don't think, because they still reference him. CM Punk references him without saying his name. Cody Rhodes did.
Yeah, they clearly can still talk about him. There's a wink and a nod to the audience, but overall, everyone should thank Vince. I agree, Pico, because he's a shithead, pun intended, and I don't know. I was a bit baffled with some of the way things transpired, but
we wouldn't be doing this show right now.
Yeah, he did have a fecal fixation. He loves farting humor. Remember when he was having Natalia fart? Like that was her entire gimmick. She would just walk into a room and fart.
I forgot about that.
Right? Craziness. I mean, Orton versus Vince. Now, sign me up for that. Imagine that match. The RKO that ends Vince's life. Yeah, he's not Benoit, but he's close. I mean, he's done a lot of heinous shit, and still respect him for what he's done for the company, the business. But everyone, and Liz brought it to our attention before about Cody Rhodes saying to Roman, everything that's gonna happen happened. He laid it out perfectly. You lost your title, you lost your wise man, you lost your family, the bloodline's done. You have nothing. And guess what? CM Punk said it 100 times better years ago with that pipe bomb. Vince is gonna get fucked off, and you're gonna, leave it with your doofus son-in-law and daughter to run the company, and that's exactly what we got. But thankfully, things have kind of turned. I mean,
that idea better, I guess.
It's funny because they're in a place now where they are getting along, and creatively, Triple H was saying how much fun he's had working with Punk. So hearing that
I think Punk has matured in a way. I think
absolutely. Oh,
he's not more about himself, because I don't think he gets mad if he has to lose a match like he possibly could.
I still believe, though, even with all the great changes in WWE, if the Young Bucks and Kenny didn't fuck up with Punk and start all that drama and turns into Brawl Out, and he was happy there, he never would have came back. They literally pushed him to WWE's open arms. You can't convince me otherwise.
And Triple H was going to be like, all right, let me just squash this beef with him. And
then I guess, Dana White got booed. I saw the first time. I didn't see the second time. Maybe it was a commercial thing, but he got booed twice, and it's like headlines all over. Dana White gets booed twice by 60,000 crowd at WrestleMania.
I think Cody Rhodes gets booed tonight.
I don't think so. I think the fans are. He did, but I think also because of the way it was laid out and the way John builds it up.
You're gonna have a Rock and Hogan situation. I think it's gonna be Rock and Hogan all over.
You might be right. They can flip, but the crowd, I do agree with what several people have said so far. They don't know what the fuck they want because they're cheering for Roman Reigns.
What?
Yeah. Then you got Punk chants. Then you got Seth singing. Like they just are cheering everybody. Everybody's over. They want everybody to win, which is fun. But
because when Cody Rhodes was getting booed, Cena was like, "This is the people you fight for."
Yeah, and he was right. He stated it very well.
Cody Rhodes after booing him, and then
I love that your friend was able to pick up that shirt for you, Liz. I know Spaz felt terrible. He wasn't able to do it last time. He actually just got all the message the other day in one big swirl of it all. And, I'm glad you were able to get the Mania shirt, though. That's the important one. For damn sure. So, all in all, I really feel like night 2 is going to be top notch. EO, I think, is going to win. I'm picking Cena. Oh, I want Cody, but I'm picking Cena. Then we got Liv
For the win.
and Raquel. I think Dominic is pinning Finn. I think Drew is beating Priest. I think Logan is beating Styles. And I
think Styles is winning.
I think Nick
That's one win.
Aldis is Randy Orton's open challenge
Either
opponent.
Nick Aldis or Rusev.
Rusev on a tank, like you said, would be incredible, but, you know, sign me up for that.
He's going to use his tank.
Yeah, exactly. It's certainly going to be wild. Casey said, I wanted
Still
CM
win,
Punk
but-
to win, but I figured Seth was, yeah, everybody kind of got that memo at the end. Once Seth almost, stomped Paul's head in and said he owed him one, we knew. Yeah, Paul, I agree. Logan Paul's winning. Cody's going to be the odd man out here. You're going ahead and you're picking AJ. Not a bad choice, obviously, but tonight, too, also has a bit more of, what there's, let's see, how many singles matches? We've got 1, 2, 3. So that's not too bad. How many did we have the night before? I feel like it was more singles matches night 1, no? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, then tag match you could say is 6. The main event was the only multi-person match in triple threat. But tonight, obviously, besides the main event, we got the triple for the women. We got the tag. You could say that's a singles, and then we got the fatal 4-way. So as much as it felt like multi-man Mania, I guess it wasn't as chaotic or as impactful as I thought it was going to be, like before.
I think tonight we're going to get banger after banger after banger after banger.
I hope so, because it just didn't feel like WrestleMania at certain times. And I want to be wowed. It's sad to hear that Fuego del Sol, he never got that AEW contract, and damn it, or he did, and they didn't really fully utilize him, and just nothing happened for so long. He was a great wrestler, and it's sad, but he left his boots in the ring the other day, and he's retiring, going to take care of his family after 10 long years. Today's WrestleCon is his last chance to do so. So anybody out there in Vegas, go ahead and stop by, see him, tell him thank you for all he's done. And like we said, what are you guys most excited for tonight? If I had to pick just one match to watch, personally, it's going to be the IC match. I want the IC title. What about you? What match are you looking forward to the most, Cody?
Top 3 matches, because I think they'll all steal the show. I'm looking forward to the Drew and Damian.
Okay.
Actually, there's a lot more than night 1. I'm interested to see the Randy Orton Open Challenge.
Yeah.
I think the Fatal 4-Way has the potential to steal the show.
It does. I can agree with that.
I'm interested to see who Lyra's going to have as her partner. And I think that's going to be a great tag team match because we've talked about how great Liv and Raquel are as a tag team. They work like magic together, and definitely the Cody Rhodes and John Cena, because you never know what you're going to get. Are you going to
Motherfucker, I said, listen here. I said to pick 1. Not 7, not 6, not 5.
I'm sorry.
1.
I'm sorry.
1 match. No, really.
If you had to pick one, what would it be? What is Cody looking forward to? I fucking love you, bud. I know they stacked it. That's what I'm saying. I'm more excited about this fucking night than I was for all of it. I want Liv's lips. Hey, Pico, who doesn't? I think my wife would have a problem with that. But hypothetical single Jake doesn't have a shot in hell. But you're saying there's a chance.
I'm probably Cena and Cody Rhodes. So because
all right, and that's not cliche. Wanting to see the Cody match. No, there's a lot of intrigue. That is my 2, or 1B. 1A is the IC title, because I love Finn. Dom, no one gets as much heel heat as Dom does. I can't. I can't put it over enough. The kid has really come into his own. He's damn good in the ring. He's gotten better as his character developed more. I like Dominic. I think he's a good, opposite to Judgment Day. He's scrappy. He doesn't always get the job done, but if you need him to really pull through, he just might matter where it counts. The neck tattoo versus the bald spot, right? I feel that. That's quite the main event. The way that Cena said it too, your neck tattoo, you got your own gimmick tattooed to your neck. That's how much of a fan you are. The lines they had with each other, that was the thing. People were worried that Cody wouldn't be able to keep up, and Cody kept up. He sounded great. He managed to get the crowd back on his side. I think the crowd is still just, they don't want to boo Cody. They don't want to boo John. But John is fucking John Cena. He's always been excellent on the mic, and he just gets better and better. So when you go ahead and you get him to basically eviscerate and destroy Cody like he did, and now the crowd is ripping into him. But Cody, he didn't stop. He didn't miss a beat. He made sure. He let the crowd cheer for him. He let them boo him. But then he made them listen. He talked over their boos. He talked over their, chants for John. And he made them listen. And he got them back. He didn't lose them. They just had to be reminded that he's the champ. And he did that in spades. Pun intended, they're in Vegas. Maybe we get a sixth move of Doom. Remember when he was doing that ridiculous, kind of like Super Power Ranger, punch you in the face, ridiculous spinning, whatever. Oh, that was such a terrible move. But I want to see one chant above all else, and it's not Cody Rhodes. I really want to see You Can't Wrestle blare through the stadium tonight. I want 60,000 plus on their feet screaming at John Cena, you can't wrestle. That backwards 450 might have been the move of the night. El Grande Americano from the Gulf of wherever is Chad Gable's, one of his great showings. Sadly, with that match, it felt a little underwhelming as well because time-wise, it was short. They flew through a lot of the matches. I forget what the statistic was. I looked it up earlier, and I had sent it to the group. And we go ahead and see that how much full time was spent wrestling. So out of the 4 plus whatever, it was 7 hours if you count the free show too. There was 2 hours and 11 minutes and 57 seconds of wrestling throughout all of Mania. So the other basically 2 hours or hour and 50 was for entrances and video packages, which isn't crazy, but you figure there definitely would have been more. I think tonight's crowd is going to be better. A lot of people were holding off on tickets for night 1 and night 2, waiting to see what the card would be, and they released it very late. So what I saw on Reddit was a lot of people just gunning for night 2, knowing that, hey, they're obviously going to get Cody Cena. Everything else, I don't know what's going to land there, but I'll definitely get to see that. They did release a lot of tickets that are open at a cheaper price today. So if you are in the Vegas area or can get there, they are doing all but handing the tickets out at this point for a great reduced price. You're going to be in a shitty seat, certainly, but you're there. So if you can make it out that way, do so and enjoy yourselves. But thank you to everybody in the chat, guys. I was blown away by all the support. I know I've said it a few times, but you guys have just really, really overwhelmed me with a lot of great emotions. And it's been a really tough while, especially this week was a bitch. It was a tough week. And everybody knows that I enjoy this. I find a great deal of solace in being my effervescent and rambling self. I already, I know I talk too much as is. I'm just thankful, guys and gals. Thank you. I just want everybody here to have fun. There's no donation link. There's no Patreon. There's no who knows what the future holds? Maybe I'll unlock a super chat eventually, but that's not my goal. I just want a community of people that are like-minded and enjoying each other, away from drama. And if you have to go ahead and
Oh yeah.
sign up for me shoving a few bananas up my ass every now and again, that's okay too. As long as you're, let's see if I can find this here. But, chat, let's see. Oh, thank you, Paul and Mr. Pico. Yeah, possible sequel. It's the squeakquel. Love you too, Casey. Tonight's gonna fucking pop. I know it is. How could it not? Honestly, John Cena, his last WrestleMania, he's a heel. Like, it's definitely happening. So I don't want to see Cody lose, but how does Cena not win? I'm so perplexed and awaiting heartbreak. Don't want to see Cody lose, but I really think Cena's winning. Yeah,
I think Cena's winning too.
I think Cena's winning, and I know you want Cena to win, but I'm thinking he wins. I don't see a way that he can't walk out with the title. It has to be the case. I think that's all there is to it. I mean, he's got The Rock on his side. I think we're getting The Rock. I think they want to get Ric Flair out of there, and I think the story is going to be John keeping the belt away, a la Death Riders, but done right. Hopefully. Anything's possible, because when John turned heel, I genuinely was blown away. As much as people could have said they predicted it or they knew it was coming, I didn't believe it. Not in a million years. For everything that John endured through and all the hate that he survived to basically build himself into a point where he was viewed as a legend and a workhorse. And then the part-time stuff was acceptable too, because he always came back. It was fun. It was exciting. It led into something else. There was always a next step. So when does Cody get it back? I don't know. What if Cody goes to Raw and goes to that side of things, takes on Jay? Does he
probably will go to Raw?
I think eventually, maybe SummerSlam, we get them facing each other. I've also heard from a few people that they're bringing back but having a ruthless aggression pay-per-view in honor of John's, last year, and that will cap off the after Survivor Series. That'll cap off the year, so it'll end with ruthless aggression. So if that is actually the case, that's pretty damn cool. I appreciate what they got going on there. Milo, it's a pyro. Good boy. Come here. You want a treat? Come here. Come say hi. Come here. Come say hi to the stream. Come on, lazy butt. You need your grooming Friday. I know you're going to get your hair cut. He's letting the pyro go. But thank you all so much for hanging out. I've had a few too many cups of coffee, and I know I've rambled on long enough, but Cena versus Angle too. Yeah, this has the caliber to be that top-notch, massive match. I'm excited to see what we get from heel Cena in a match. I mean, think about it. We've not seen how he wrestles. We don't know his style, his mannerisms. Like, what is he going to do? Does he have a new song tonight? Do we get a new repackaged John Cena? Tonight's the night to do it. I certainly would have had him change, things at Mania. I know they were worried. They didn't want to get him cheered overseas with him having a new look, new merch, all of it. But they also do have his merch, and it's pretty much just straightforward. The time is now, and that's all there is to it. So the last time is now. And John made a great point on SmackDown, saying that everybody in the wrestling business is too insecure to retire. I mean, Ric Flair, Jesus, who else said it? Somebody else said it the other day too. They're like, they want to die in the ring. Literally, that's how they want to go out. Rick had made a comment saying like, oh, that when I passed out in my last match, the second time that he passed out, he's like, I actually thought I was going to slip away for a brief second, and it brought me peace. He's like, I want to die in the ring. That's terrible. that's awful. Because that's the only place you find glory in, and you have to go ahead and deal with that. Yeah, Sabu's still killing himself. There's if you love it, you love it. But it feels like these people either A, have to do it because of finances, or B, can't stop doing it because of some type of mental need to be in the limelight. Yeah, I don't want more cars. I don't want more BS. I want some real great entrances tonight. I think Seth Rollins was kind of the biggest highlight with his flamethrower, and then the dark out, the blackout, and then it goes to the all-white Seth Rollins, the Messiah, came down, and the Architect, he looked like a badass there. I'll give him that. No more of the floofy, fucky shitty that he had, like his big boas and hats last year from Mardi Gras and all, or the year before. No, last year he had it. Yeah, that was right, in Philadelphia. So they walked him out the second night before he took on Drew. Cody rides Brandy to the ring, who's also riding Pharaoh. I think that would be great. Yeah, the flamethrower was cool. Punk getting, Living Color to play his theme after they played the Kill Switch This Fire Burns theme in its, entirety while showcasing the history of Punk. They gave him that main event entrance. He finally got his big moment. Although I don't think I heard a crowd louder than the main event of Stand and Deliver. When Trick came out, they had that, the decibel level for how loud it is. And I think it was like 128 decibels was, I think, the peak that they got it to. Incredible. But yeah, Charlotte's diamond entrance, that shade of blue hits. That's cool. Javon Evans has, the young blood, but everything kind of like looks like ice forming, and then it cracks and it breaks through, and then you can see him. I really like how they tweak and adjust entrances until they get them just how they want them. When Cody first appeared, I don't know if you guys remember the Raw after Mania for Mania 38, and that was the Hollywood one, I believe, right? Or was that the next year? So they go ahead and they put a elevator in the middle of the stage because there was no like ramp. You just had this little box that Cody kind of rose out of, and he was like, "Oh, this is stupid because there's no ramp anymore for the stage." So they had nowhere to raise him out of. So then you saw him get rid of that, and they just did because there was no whoa yet. The fans just started doing it. He's had the same song for years, and the whoa never happens. And now the fans just naturally got into it. So then they added the pyro to that and the second whoa. But the initial, where he comes out in the fog and it makes the quick explosion, and it's incredible what they use. They're cold spark pyrotechnics, so it doesn't actually burn you. The embers aren't hot like you think before. I mean, incredible. I've always been a huge proponent or fan of, fireworks, pyrotechnics, all those kind of things. I actually looked into it at one point, wanting to get my pyrotechnic license. I thought that would have been really cool, but it is a ton of work. So unfortunately, my disabled ass wasn't able to do it. Maybe I'll just buy some dynamite and throw it in the air, and we'll call it a show. Cody, before we get the hell out of here, you have anything left to say to the people?
I can't wait for night 2, and I can't wait to review night 2 on the show again tonight. We had a great coffee stream. Now it's afternoon stream.
It's way past coffee now.
We went on for a while, which I like, and I think
we've been cooking. I got to try and get dressed tonight. Look a little svelte for the stream. We'll see how timing goes and what comes of it. But where can we find you, Sir Cody?
You can find me over on Twitter at Judgment Day Era, and on Instagram Cody_Onidi_316, and all my
hell yeah,
there. Out and about.
You got enough of them. I mean, really. So gotta be careful. But you've found a way to somehow continue your plotting ways. That's okay. Cody should come out on the Triple H throne he smashed, all put back together. I wonder if they had to have talked about that in person. Been like, really? You had to smash my really? Like, it was a cool visual, but I always felt like that was pretty cheesy. Like, oh, fuck you guys. It felt like TNA Desperate, where the Voodoo Kin Mafia was like, come on, pay attention to us. Fuck you, Vince. And I don't know. It wasn't great, but we'll see what happens with tonight's main event. John Cena, Cody Rhodes. Who wins? Who survives? I'm excited. Cody, thank you so much for being here. That's right. Triple H low blows Cody. Never forget. It could happen. It could happen. Guys, I appreciate you all being here for the Cup of Java stream. Everybody's been great. And I've had a ton of fun. I'm really looking forward to night 2. As everybody has said, we will be live as soon as night 2 goes off the air. We'll be joined by the former OKFabe Connor. Spaz will be in the building. Cody will be here. And we're going to be opening up the Discord about halfway through the review. We'll get Paul and everybody else that wants to join, Liz and whoever. It's going to be a clusterfuck, but it's going to be a ton of fun. So I will navigate through the madness. I have the ability to mute and unmute you all, so you will obey. Or it's banana time. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you all stay sexy. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And I will go ahead and see you all in just a few hours. One more time. Hit that intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of appropriate ages, welcome to the WrestleMania 41 Night 2 review. Countdown Ended is here live with friends to break it all down. Are you ready? Let's see those bananas in the air, and let's get ready to party.
Ceiling's cold, but the fire ain't out. Jake and the crew ain't a whisper or doubt. WrestleMania, blood and pride collide. Glory falls and history's tied to somewhere where shadows clash.
Oh, I forgot to say, Happy Easter as well, everybody. See you tonight.
Voices loud, predictions flash. Seen a road fist break the air. A desert storm they cannot share.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of